Well, great to have you with us on this Thursday afternoon. We're at Great American Ballpark in downtown Cincinnati. Things not going well for the home team so far. They bat in the bottom of the 6th inning, trailing 6-0. They have been shut out on one base hit by Arizona left-hander Joe Saunders. Top of the order for the Reds: Stubbs, Valdez, Phillips. Stubbs 0 for 2 is struck out and popped up. Breaking ball in there, strike.
Saunders has almost gone about his way today, pitching backwards. Soft early, hard in late. That's about how Blanco used to catch Greg Maddux.
Saunders been a pretty good role ever since he came off the disabled list. Made the one start against the Cubbies, allowed 3 earned runs his last time up. He did give up 8 hits. But before that trip, it allowed 2, 1, 3, 1 in the 4 starts prior. There's a little flare off the end of the bat in the shallow center, and that ball checked up. That ball looked like a ball hitting the green and then checked up.
That shows you how much that wind is blowing in, and the rain's starting to come down once again. That ball started up, and as it came down, it spun back towards the infield. Go figure. That's that wind, or a gust of wind, catching the baseball and blowing it back towards the infield.
All right, leadoff man aboard now. Wilson Valdez 0 for 2, struck out and walked. First pitch swinging, fouls it away off to the first base side on a play. The ball up around Valdez's neck, up and away from him, trying to shoot it into right field. Here's the 0-1, and this one he does shoot into right field. Down the right field line, a hit. Advancing on first to third is Stubbs. So the Reds have tripled their hit total here in the last 2 batters of this inning. 2 on, nobody out. And here's Brandon Phillips. Catcher Henry Blanco coming out for a lengthy chat with Saunders. It's over now, and Blanco will backpedal to just in front of the plate, letting everybody know what they're up to defensively here, with runners on the corners and none out. Phillips waiting, and now the pitch outside, ball 1. Brandon is lined softly to second, popped up to short.
He has a huge hole on the right side of the infield with Goldschmidt holding on. Valdez, Hill playing at double play depth up the middle. They're going to sacrifice the run for a double play.
Popped up on a 1-0 pitch into foul territory, first base side, and luckily for Phillips, it's about 5 rows out of play.
Well, this is the place where you really don't try to get everything back in one swing. What you're really trying to do is keep the rally going. If you try to get everything back in one swing, you're going to end up with a pop-up in the infield.
Phillips has 10 home runs. He has 50 runs batted in. They're on the corners with nobody out. High drive down the left field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is fair, and it is gone. 3-run home run, Brandon Phillips. And Brandon Phillips has cut this lead in half. It's gone from 6-0 to 6-3.
That's keeping the rally alive right there. That was one pitch I believe Mr. Saunders would like to do again. Tried to come in with a fastball, and he left it out over the plate, and Phillips hammered it.
Charles Nagy, the longtime very good starting pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. Now, of course, he's the Arizona Diamondbacks pitching coach, and he's coming out to chat with Saunders, who's allowed single home run. And all of a sudden now, with nobody out, and you're still only in the 6th inning, the Reds are right back in this game, down by 3 runs.
Well, this is nothing more than coming out to Saunders and giving him a breather. He's had a rough 3 batters. Sat down for a long inning after the Diamondbacks put 3 on the board. So Shaw coming in throwing strikes. He split the plate in half on the first pitch and ran that one right in on the hands of Mesoraco as he grounds out to third for the first out here in the 7th. That'll bring to the plate Xavier Paul. Paul now in his 2nd appearance for the Reds in the big leagues. And both coming in pinch hit duty. His last at bat, he swung at the first pitch, flied out to center field. And he'll be there hitting from the left side against the right-hander Shaw, missing away. 1 ball, no strikes. A fastball running right off the outside corner. Logan Ondrusek throwing in the Reds pen. And the Reds bullpen has been quite busy as of late. The pitch inside, 2-0, another 93-mile-an-hour heater down and in. Stubbs waiting on deck. Stubbs started the 3-run rally back in the bottom of the 6th inning with a single into right field. Valdez the same, and then the big 3-run jack by Phillips just inside the left field foul pole. 6-3 the score. Pitch down and in. Paul takes it 3-0. Reds 3 runs on 4 hits. They've left 4 aboard. Diamondbacks 6 runs on 12 hits. They've left 5 aboard. And they led 6-0 before Phillips' 3-run home run in the bottom of the 6th to cut it in half. 3-0 pitch to Paul. Bounces to the backstop, and that's a wild one. So Shaw comes in with perfect pitches to Mesoraco and all over the place to Xavier Paul. So 1-out walk for the Reds pinch hitter. He's aboard at first base, and here's Drew Stubbs. And here at Great American Ballpark, you can't help but think about what one swing of the bat can do. And a home run either way puts the Reds right back in this thing. They're down by 3 now, and Stubbs has the power to do it as that fastball misses down and away, and Henry Blanco headed to the mound to talk to the young right-hander. All fastballs from the right-hander Shaw. He got Mesoraco on the 2nd pitch after splitting the plate in half on the first one. That's the 5th consecutive ball that he's thrown. Blanco back in behind home plate. Shaw back to the mound. Xavier Paul over at first base. He takes his lead. Stubbs waiting patiently at the plate. The pitch down and away. 2 balls, no strikes. So Brian Shaw having a tough time finding the strike zone. Right-hander comes set, kicks and deals. Outside, 3 balls and no strikes. 7 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone. And Charles Nagy and Kirk Gibson, pitching coach and manager respectively for the Diamondbacks, looking on intently. There's another ball 4, and the bases are now first and second base for the Reds, and here comes Valdez. 1 out in the inning. So I don't think we're going to see Valdez bunting. And Charles Nagy making a slow walk to the line, and now he'll jog to the mound. That submarine form that we see on the big league mound. First pitch to Valdez is in there for a strike. A fastball about mid-thigh high, right over the outside corner. First and second for the Reds. Valdez at the plate. The pitch. And it just misses outside. Valdez showed bunt. Pulled it back right at the last second. Larry Vanover, the home plate umpire. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Valdez.
Of course, when Valdez does bunt, more times than not, he pushes the ball to the right side rather than towards the third baseman.
And the pitch. Hit hard. Right through the right side. Goldschmidt pulled his glove up, and that's going to end up being a double for Valdez. A run scores in Xavier Paul, and it is now 6-4, and the Reds have the tying runs aboard and the go-ahead run coming to the plate. RBI number 10 on the year for Valdez, his 4th double, and it couldn't have come at a better time. It almost appeared that Goldschmidt was trying to snatch it and spin to throw to second all in one motion, and he just came up empty, just flat airmailed it all the way down into the corner. Upton had to go to retrieve the baseball. So 1 out in the inning, 6-4 now. Phillips stands at the plate, runners at second and third base. Pitch outside corner. Strike 1. Well, that appeared to be off the plate.
Yeah, Brandon thought it was too.
Phillips stands back in. Big 3-run blast his last time up. Down the left field line. Brian Shaw on the mound. Breaking ball way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shaw has made this mess of his own doing. He got a quick out of Mesoraco. He walked the pinch hitter Paul, who just scored. He walked Stubbs, all coming on 8 pitches. Pitch up and away. 2 balls and a strike.
It's amazing the good things that can happen when you take a pitch, slow things down, calm things down a little bit. You catch a break on the misplay at first, but because of the 2 walks in front of it, you're on the board and now banging on the door to tie it, if not take the lead.
Just a little bit of patience. And now you've created a rally and you got a chance to tie the game. Swing and a miss. Good fastball there from the right-hander Shaw. 94 miles an hour, and Phillips swings right through it for strike 2.
And that was a swing where, again, Phillips was trying to hit the ball in the seat. So now with 2 strikes, I mean, at the minimum, you got to get 1 more in this inning.
Only 1 out. So a fly ball cuts this game to 1 if you get it deep enough.
And a ground ball.
Stubbs at third. Pitch. Fouled straight back behind home plate. A heater up and away. And Phillips went after it. Just got a piece of it.
Yeah, the only place, Cowboy, well, the only 2 places that you're not going to score a run on a ground ball would be right at the third baseman, and that's even a hit or miss depending on where he's going to go. And then back to the pitcher. That's Drew Stubbs running down there. Short, second, and first are not throwing to the plate.
Well, any ball at third base, if you make Ryan Roberts move left or right, he's going to have to go across the infield. He won't be able to make the play at home. Not with Stubbs running. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, line drive, past the shortstop, into left center field, and folks, we are tied. Phillips all the way around to second base, and the Reds have come all the way back from a 6-0 deficit to tie this baby up. 6 apiece. Boy, Brandon Phillips has brought his hitting shoes today. That is his 5th RBI on the afternoon.
We brought up earlier, you and I were talking about specifically Phillips and Jay Bruce. These are two of the cornerstones of this franchise. And without Joey Votto, if they are in positions to get this team on the board, they need to deliver. And today, that guy so far has been Brandon Phillips.
Big time. The big 3-run jack in there. A 2 RBI double. Mike Zagorski is in. Will step out on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network. Ziegler, the sinker ball specialist on the mound. He has not given up a home run to a right-handed hitter in his last 309 batters faced. Todd Frazier stands in with 2 down. He bunts, foul. So the Reds have tried that time and time again and come up unsuccessfully. Frazier bunting for a base hit there as Ryan Roberts playing almost on the grass at third base. If you get the bunt down, you get the go-ahead run to the plate. But now that it's foul, you're down in the count. No balls and 1 strike. Ziegler, the submariner, to the plate. Line drive up the middle, and that's a base hit. And the Reds have taken the lead 7-6. Todd Frazier, oh my goodness.
That's what we said before the break, Cowboy. You need Frazier to step up there. He's going to get a lot of playing time with Votto out. And this is a guy that we know is not afraid of the big moment or the big at bat. And that is a huge hit for the Reds all the way back from 7 or 6-0 down to take the lead.
And you said it, Tom, not being afraid of the at bat, but cherishing the moment. All-star closer Aroldis Chapman is on for the Reds. Chapman now looking for his 15th save, 40th ball game, a 1.69 earned run average, even record at 4-4, 42 and a 2/3 innings pitched, 80 strikeouts. This man can flat get it done. And I would have to say, Tom, that Aroldis Chapman is starting to really cherish this closing role.
Well, when you're going like he's going right now, why wouldn't you?
He's settled into it. Good innings, bad innings. Things have really turned around for this young left-hander, and he is young. He's only 24 years of age.
You realize of his last 25 outs? His last 25 outs, he has struck out 21 batters.
That's because he has been getting ahead in the count. When he was giving up those runs, he was getting behind in the count and leaving the ball up. Now he's getting ahead in the count and putting hitters away.
All righty, here we go. You've got some dangerous hitters in this Arizona lineup here in the ninth. And it starts with Aaron Hill, who's 2 of 4 in the game, including a home run back in the 5th. The Cuban left-hander rocks back and delivers. First pitch fastball, nearly threw it to the backstop. Ball 1.
Ryan Hannigan is in the ball game.
Chapman has only pitched 1 inning in this series. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and it's ball 2 way up high. Pitched to 1 batter to Chapman. You may remember they were going to let Sean Marshall try and close the thing out with a 4-run lead, 4-0 lead here 2 nights ago. And Marshall allowed 2 hits to the 4 batters he faced. So they brought in Chapman to get the final out. Boy, Hill had a good cut there, fouled it straight back on a 2-0 pitch. Hill was the final out in that game, by the way. Hill struck out against Chapman. Two and 1 to Aaron Hill. And there's a weak pop up and foul ground. Coming over to get it, Hannigan. 1 out. Nice hustle right off the bench, Ryan Hannigan.
Well, I tell you what, when you come off the bench on a day game and the first guy you see is Aroldis Chapman bringing that smoking heater, you better be awake and fully awake.
So now to be left-handed batting Jason Kubel. We know what he's capable of doing. Hit a couple of home runs here in the game last night. 17 of them on the year. 63 knocked in. Chapman winds and delivers. Fastball again way up high. Ball one.
Well, he's about to jerk Hannigan's arm out of socket.
Here comes the 1-0 on Kubel. Swing and a miss on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball from Chapman.
Louisiana Bayou.
Aroldis ready, so is Kubel. Drew him a slide piece on the inside corner. Oh my!
That is the ultimate equalizer. Started at the hip, and boy, Kubel's backside was shaking.
Now the 1-2 pitch. Threw the fastball by him, a swing and a miss.
The old shake and bake by the Cuban left-hander. He got it going on.
Golly day. We'll see something. Well, now one more out to go, and this guy's a good hitter, Goldschmidt. Reds trailed 6-0 when they came to bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. They got 3 in the 6th, 4 in the 7th. First pitch fastball at 99, right down the can, a strike. And now Chapman trying to cap off another spectacular outing by this Cincinnati bullpen. 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2, 99 again. And now a strike away, an out away from a game perhaps some may have conceded back in that 6th inning.
Well, Chapman is feeding off the adrenaline of the fans.
Fastball high.
There's your Highway 101.
101 miles per hour on that Chapman fastball, and now he's ready. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Swing and a foul ball off to the first base side, out of play. Reds got a 3-run home run by Brandon Phillips in the 6th inning. Couple of walks with 1 out in the 7th. RBI double by Valdez. 2-run clutch double to tie it by Phillips. And a single by Frazier with 2 outs to put him ahead. 1-2 pitch. Fastball up and away. It's 2-2 on Paul Goldschmidt, a right-handed batter. Chapman now goes back behind the mound. Finds the rosin bag. Drops it on the grass. Brushes the left foot on the rubber. And now grips the ball with the left hand. Stands tall. Looks in for the side. 2-2 on Goldschmidt. Here it is. Swing and a miss. Aroldis Chapman fans Goldschmidt, and the Reds down 6-0 in this game. Get spectacular relief pitching yet again. And Aroldis Chapman with a couple of strikeouts, including the final out. What an unbelievable win it was, 7-6. We're back in a moment.
Big comeback yesterday here at Great American Ballpark for the Reds. Bottom of the 6th inning, Brandon Phillips cuts into the lead. It was 6-3 after that blast, and then this one by Frazier put the Reds over the top in the bottom of the 7th. Dusty Baker, a happy man. Chapman, a happy man. Those two did the damage offensively, and the Reds from 6-0 come back to win 7-6. And now today, the start of a 4-game series here against the Milwaukee Brewers. Take a look at the standings now in the National League's Central Division. There you see the Reds by a 1/2 game over the idle Pirates from yesterday. Cardinals 5 back. These Brewers 7.5 games off the pace. And on the mound for the Reds, it's the right-hander from Texas, Homer Bailey.
Homer Bailey has 3 consecutive quality starts. He hopes to have one tonight. Also hopes the Reds can get him a few runs, which he would nail down a win. It would be his first against the Milwaukee Brewers. This right-hander has really found a nice pace to his delivery. And if you watch him throughout the ball game, he's a guy that his arm catches up with his body, and he's throwing the ball just about exactly where he wants to, almost on every pitch.
And they'll face Norichika Aoki to lead things off. He's been a very good leadoff man for this Milwaukee club this year. Haley's first pitch fouled back, and we are underway from Great American Ballpark. And you're seeing longer and longer stretches with this guy of consistent baseball. There's strike 3 called, and Aoki is rung up by our home plate umpire Tim Timmons to get this game started. Take a look at the Reds defensively now behind Homer Bailey, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Ludwig, Stubbs, and Bruce across the outfield. Infield is Roland Cozart left side. Phillips, Frazier, the two heroes offensively yesterday, right side. Mesoraco catches Bailey. So an RBI opportunity now for the Brewers' first-year third baseman, the veteran Aramis Ramirez, 34 years old now. Signed a 3-year deal with his Brewer club prior to the start of this season.
Boy, big strikeout right there for Homer Bailey. Challenged him with a fastball. Got it inside. Ramirez has been rolling right along, but in his later years, he's made himself a very good off-speed hitter. And Homer just goes power, and that little sinking fastball has a lot of action on it, and he just can't get the bat on it at all.
So Bailey has a couple of strikeouts. He's given up a couple of hits here in the first, and we'll deal now with Corey Hart as Ramirez heads back to the dugout. And there's another guy swinging a very good bat as of late, and who would have thought that he would be the guy, Chris, that ends up taking over for Prince Fielder at first base. Boy, that big victory yesterday certainly puts a whole different light on this series, doesn't it?
It really does. Well, you know, it does such a great wonder for the clubhouse. I mean, just consider the attitude in the clubhouse after the game last night, after that improbable, exciting comeback victory. 5 runs batted in by Brandon Phillips. A little momentum going into today.
Hart went around. He strikes out, and Bailey gets all 3 outs via the strikeout, and the Brewers strand a couple here in the top of the first. First Aoki, then Ramirez, and then finally Hart. Stubbs leads things off here in the 4th. Weeks and Braun. Weeks gives way, and Braun handles it, and that is 10 in a row set down by Marco Estrada. So the Reds still yet to not only have a hit, but no base runners yet in this game. 1 out. Here's Cozart, who flied to left his first time. Didn't appreciate the booing. Toward left field and hit well, and did it get out? Yes, it did. Home run for Cozart. His 10th of the year. I didn't clear that wall by much at all out there. Looked like it's a first row shot, but a 1 for 22 by the wayside, and a 1-0 lead.
Well, it was a fastball that he got about mid-high, right on the inner part of the plate, and Cozart's got a nice quick bat. Did not get a lot of air underneath that ball. A line drive type home run right into the first row, but the Reds will take it. They're finally on the board. They've finally been able to crack Marco Estrada, who had retired the first 10 batters in this ball game before Cozart takes him deep. All indicators showed that he was going to be a good player for the next few years.
And so you naturally want to tie him up.
Sure.
Here he strikes out for the second time tonight. Weeks is the National League leader in strikeouts now with 110.
He's just buckled on this pitch. Homer got him on a very similar pitch as last time up. You see all the movement in the batter's box. His feet are moving as the pitch is coming to the plate.
Ransom a strikeout victim. 2 out. Got him. He gets a 7th strikeout of the night. Strikes out all 3 batters that are retired in this inning. Runner stranded for the Brewers is their 3rd. Sixth inning baseball from Great American Ballpark. Homer Bailey, Marco Estrada, both on top of their games. How about that? Second time on the night he has struck out.
What a great pitch right there by Homer Bailey. And a nice job by Devin Mesoraco to set him up. Down and away, and then a little slider right there on the inner part of the plate. There's just no way you're going to hit that pitch. Once he commits, in fact, he had a better chance of that ball hitting him rather than him hitting the ball.
He gets Braun on strikes for the first time tonight. He gets his 9th strikeout of the season, of the game rather, a new season high for Homer Bailey. We're in the middle of the 6th, with the Reds still up 1-0. Home river scene here just outside the ballpark, the Ohio River. Inside, big crowd happy about what they've seen thus far. 1-0 Reds lead and a tremendous night by Homer Bailey. He has walked none. He has struck out 9. He's given up 4 hits. 2 of those were in the first inning.
This is a game very similar to that Sunday night game he pitched against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Sure is.
Low scoring ball game. No really margin of error at all. One bad pitch and a lot of different players on this Brewers team could tie it up.
That one, of course, was one on that 2-run base hit into right with the bases loaded in the 8th by Rowland. Bruce high, deep, and into the moon deck it goes. Jay Bruce, number 19. 2-0 Reds.
Well, Jay Bruce hit it hard last time, a double down the line on a breaking ball. This time he gets a 2-0 fastball right down the can and just puts a nice solid swing on it and launches it like he can so well.
His 19th of the year is his first since the All-Star break. In fact, it's only his 2nd home run since the 8th of July. Reds have a pair of solo home runs tonight. One from Cozart, number 10. One from Bruce, number 19, and own a 2-0 lead. Now Rowland going to get in on it. Rowland hits one deep. Rowland with a long ball. Number 4 for Rowland. 2 for 3 tonight for the veteran. 3-0 Reds.
I'll tell you what, he is having some kind of night. We just highlighted him as our hot dog play of the game, and he gets a high fastball right there from Marco Estrada, and vaya.
Homer Bailey at 97 pitches, back to work here in the 8th. He set down 8 in a row, 11 of the last 12. Bruce charging, sliding and cannot come up with it. And Maldonado has his 2nd hit of the night. Bailey's 6'3", 225 from LaGrange, Texas. And he gets the strikeout. Number 10 equals his career high. He set that against the Brewers on October the 2nd, 2010.
Boy, there's a little cutter right there. That ball cuts away from the right-handed hitter. Good looking pitch. He might look back on that and say, no, that wasn't the cutter, that was a slider. Nonetheless, has the same action on it, and a nice result as he's nailed 10 of them now.
And no walks tonight. Really been impressive.
This, one way or another, this will be Homer Bailey's last hitter.
And it looks like he's going to get him. Rowland. Inning over. 8-inning outing for Homer Bailey. 1 run in this frame. Middle of the 8th. 2-run Reds lead. Boy, how dynamite has this guy been?
Well, all year long he's been dynamite and very impressive, if not one of the best relievers in the league. Certainly a fearful reliever anyway. But his last 15 outs have been all recorded by the catcher. There's what we look at with the breakdown of Aroldis Chapman month by month. Did not give up an earned run in April or May. Finally gave up something in June. July has not done anything wrong at all. He struck out 18 and walked 1 in the month of June. Opponent batting average, well, forget about it. But I think over the last 15 outs, the numbers on Aroldis Chapman are such that the catcher has made every putout in the last 15 outs. 13 by strikeouts, 1 by an unassisted putout, and the other was a foul pop-up. So Aroldis Chapman has become very good buddies with whoever's behind the dish. He struck out 22 of his last 27. I mean, you just talk about dominating. I've never seen anything like it.
Double change made by the Reds. Heisey's now out in left. Chapman is on the mound. Heisey in the 9 spot. Chapman in the 5 hole. Ludwig out of the game. Chapman has appeared twice against the Brewers this year. 2 innings a save, no runs, no hits, 5 strikeouts. And he gets Braun to lead it off.
Well, he's been used often here. Aroldis Chapman has since the All-Star break. This is his 6th appearance since the break.
It's 11 strikeouts now for Reds pitching. Since Chapman last blew a save on the 24th of June against Minnesota, he has saved 7 in a row over 9 appearances. Make it number 12 in terms of strikeouts for Reds pitching as Ramirez down on strikes. 25 of the last 30 outs he has recorded have been strikeouts.
Unbelievable. When he throws this pitch up, and it's a hard pitch for hitters to lay off, and they swing at it, you're just not going to hit that ball, period.
Now Corey Hart. Phillips. Frazier. Reds win. Bailey gets his 9th victory. That equals a career high for him. Chapman gets his 16th save. Reds win it by a score of 3-1. Guarantee themselves still a half-game advantage in the National League Central Division. And boy, oh boy, this was some special night right here.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you win a ball game like this, a very workmanlike win by the Reds, you go out there, you get good pitching, you get 3 home runs, you make them stand up with that good pitching, you bring a closer in that slams the door with a couple of punch outs, throwing a ball 100 miles an hour, and now you start believing in this ball club.
3-1 the final. The Reds a winner. It is a beautiful night for baseball here in Cincinnati as the Reds look for their 3rd consecutive win. They won last night against the Brewers. They play the middle game of this 3-game series here tonight on Fox Sports Ohio. Reds were a winner last night here. So were the Pirates. So were the Cardinals. So the standings today reflect exactly as they did yesterday. The Reds by a half game over the Pirates, 5 over St. Louis, and now 8.5 games ahead of this Milwaukee ball club. Norichika Aoki leads things off against Bronson Arroyo, and this game is underway on a high fly ball headed to right. And Bruce is there, so one pitch, one.
He'll also have a couple of throwaway games, that really jumps that earned run average up, and it makes his overall statistics not really reflect exactly what he does on a consistent basis.
It's Arizona on Monday when the first 5 reached via the hit. That line drive looked like it might have been knuckling at Cozart, but he makes the catch. Braun retired, and a 1-2-3 first turned in by the 35-year-old Bronson Arroyo.
Nicely, and gets that bat head through.
He lines this ball into left field beyond the diving third baseman, Aramis Ramirez, so the Reds don't have to wait long tonight to get their first hit. Single by Cozart. He now has 4 straight hits.
I get the feeling that Zach Cozart enjoys the number 2 spot. And I wondered if he really has 2 guys at the very top of the order here that would rather be hitting second than hitting first. He's on a little bit of a roll right now, feeling pretty good about himself. Picked up the team last night with that home run.
Yeah, he snapped that 1 for 22 with a homer in the 4th, then had a single in the 6th, a double in the 8th. So a hit in each of his last 3 at-bats last night, and a single his first time up today. Now it's Brandon Phillips in the number 3 spot, replacing Joey Votto until Votto returns. Brandon held hitless last night, 0 for 4. Comes in at 287. 11 homers, 55 batted in. His last home run, of course, was part of that big comeback on Thursday afternoon against Arizona, where he had 5 RBIs. Shoots it to right. Cozart will keep an eye on the ball. Hart comes up with it cleanly, so he stops at second base. That's where Phillips seems to be going a lot, Chris, that way.
It's one thing to see Brandon Phillips do this and say, man, why doesn't he do this all the time? And then when you think about him being in the number 4 spot, sometimes being in that cleanup spot gets into your head and you think, you know what, I need to hit home runs, I need to bang the ball off the wall. But this is Brandon Phillips at his best right here, slashing the ball, going all over to different fields. Very tough to defend when he does that.
A 2 on with 1 out for Jay Bruce. Jay takes a breaking ball strike. He snapped an 0 for 19 with his double in the 4th inning last night, and added to a 1-0 lead with a home run in the 7th inning. Number 19 for him, that made it 2-0 at the time. The Reds went on to win 3-1.
Now this cannot be a very comfortable spot for Giovanni Gallardo. He knows that Bruce has got plenty of power. Hit one 440 last night. And he's also killed Gallardo in his previous matchups. 10 for 23 overall. That's a .435 batting average.
Jay Bruce has 21 career home runs against the Brewers. That's the most against any opponent for him in his career. Toward the middle by Weeks. That's a hit. That's a run batted in. Scoring is Cozart. Phillips hustles to third. Back-to-back-to-back hits and a 1-0 Reds lead. That one had eyes as it got by Ricky Weeks.
Well, most teams like to play a shift on Jay Bruce when they can. But the Brewers don't, and that ball going away would normally be a double play ball. But Ricky Weeks kind of pulled into the hole. He can't get to it. The shortstop did not go all the way around to shift him to the other side of second base, so it left that hole open up the middle. So Jay Bruce gets a hit with runners in scoring position.
Gallardo, who only allowed 4 hits in 7 innings his last time out in a victory against Pittsburgh, now has allowed 3 hits here in the first. Here's a third of the 3 Reds who homered in the game last night. Scott Rowland. He lifts a high fly ball to left field, carrying into the corner. Braun is there. He'll make the catch for the out. The throw comes into second base. Phillips tags and scores. Rowland gave it a bid for a 3-run shot. He'll settle for the sacrifice fly, giving him his 20th RBI and a 2-0 Reds lead.
Well, a good start right there. Anytime you get a pitcher who is as quality as Giovanni Gallardo, and he struck out 14 in his last game, you get him a little on the ropes in the first inning, that may be the only time you get him. Rowland nearly went yard, and But the important thing is that they got a ball into the outfield and they score another run.
Throw into second holds Bruce at first. Now it's Ludwig. Ludwig himself has hit the long ball against Gallardo twice. He has 4 career hits against this right-hander. 2 of them home runs.
Who's that guy?
Joey enjoying a little break on the bench, saying, hey, all right, good deal. 2-0 advantage early. Ludwig in the game last night, 0 for 4. 14 home runs, 39 runs batted in. They shift against Ludwig. Weeks is on the shortstop side of second. Runner going. And a stolen base. The ball into center. Bruce is going to try to scamper to third. Here comes the throw. Safe at third base. That'll be a steal and an error. Jay Bruce gets his 6th of the year. And a throwing error in Maldonado.
Well, he had a big jump, and Gallardo's a guy with a big kind of deliberate delivery to the plate. That ball just gets right by Ricky Weeks and allows Jay Bruce to get into third base.
Those play at third. Tim Timmons over there, right on top of the action, made the safe call with Ramirez flipping right over. And by the way, they give an error on Ricky Weeks on that, the second baseman, not on the catcher Maldonado.
You know, that's a good call, because I've said for a long time, those errors that where a catcher throws a ball and it's a tight play at second and it goes underneath the glove of the second baseman or shortstop because they're trying to olay it and make a tag at the same time. Get in front of the ball.
Ludwig, line drive, way back. Second deck shot, Ryan Ludwig, number 15. And a 4-run first inning is what greets Giovanni Gallardo here in the Reds first.
By Ryan Ludwig. You know, talking to him before the ball game, he was telling me that he didn't really pick the ball up very well off of last night's starter Marco Estrada, but he said, I do see the ball much better off Giovanni Gallardo.
Drop down a little side on there and gets the strikeout of Braun. He gets their 2 big guns back-to-back here on strikes. First Braun and now Ramirez.
And he gets them really on the identical pitch. It's a sidearm breaking ball that he gives a lot of arm action on, and you know, he just gets out there and flips that thing. We showed you before the ball game the revolutions per minute.
Roland can't get it, and then it's off the glove of Cozart and out into shallow left field. That's going to allow Ishikawa to move up 90 feet. It's a base hit for Braun. First and third, nobody out.
The lower spin on this ball, we talked about it. Boy, it takes a high hop right there. That area in front of home plate, that's about as hard as we've seen it all year long.
Here's Ramirez now, one big swing away.
Yeah, you know, you think that this ball game's under control just because Arroyo's kind of grooving along, and Reds got 4 in the first. In this ballpark, 3 runs is nothing.
Ramirez a double his first time, a strikeout his last. Been hitting the ball pretty well over the course of the last 6 weeks. Braun over there has 16 stolen bases in 21 attempts.
And what they like to do if they're going to steal broad is just wait for a count they think they're going to get a slow breaking ball.
Diving stop. There's one. They got them both.
What a play by Cozart.
Boy, you just didn't think there's any way they're going to turn a double play on that, much less stop that ball.
I thought for a moment that had base hit written all over it, and all of a sudden here comes Zach Cozart, our John Morrell hot dog player of the game, going hard to the bag, knocking it down, pitching it over to Brandon Phillips. A quick turn. 6-4-3 in the book, but it's a whole lot better than that one when you see it live.
Boy, Brandon got rid of that thing in a hurry. No argument down there at first base. Rowland to Frazier. Perfect throw by the veteran Scott Rowland. Nab Ricky Weeks at first. And the Brewers must settle for one. Reds by a couple. Coming up in the bottom of the sixth. Brandon caught a breaking ball. Hit it well to left field. And that will add to the advantage. A 2-run lead turns into a 4-run lead. As Brandon Phillips hits his second home run in 3 days, he now has 57 RBIs and a 6-2 Reds advantage.
Boy, Brandon Phillips is simply on fire. No Joey Votto. Brandon says no problem. I'll take over that number 3 slot. Maybe it is the number 3 slot that makes the magic. Right there, a hanging breaking ball pretty much right down Broadway. A nice smooth swing by Phillips. A 2-run bomb.
Ludwig. Reds win. They've won 3 in a row. They've won the first 2 games of this series against Milwaukee. And they'll go for the sweep here against this Brewers ball club tomorrow afternoon as they get a 6-2 win here tonight. Boy, Bronson Arroyo, what a heck of a bounce-back night.
Well, a good night overall for the Reds. They just seem to be coming out, taking care of business in a very workmanlike fashion. They play good defense. They've gotten some good hitting. And without Joey Votto in the lineup, they continue to put W's on the board. And they continue to have a very good homestand. Now with 54 wins, they are the winningest team in the National League.
Nicely done by the Reds tonight. 6-2 the final. More after this. A city painted red with pride is proud today. It boasts the hottest team in baseball, and one of its own baseball sons is to be enshrined. A Sunday speech is certain. Will we see a Sunday sweep as well? A very special Baseball Sunday is next. Well, it is indeed a big day in Cooperstown with the induction of Barry Larkin, but a big day here as well as the Reds go for the sweep of this series against the Milwaukee Brewers on Fox Sports Ohio. Take a look at the National League standings in the Central Division. The Reds, winners of 3 in a row, still hold that half-game lead over Pittsburgh. Still 5 games ahead of those third-place Cardinals, and now they've pushed this Milwaukee club 9.5 games off the pace. So both Zach Cozart and Drew Stubbs get the day off today, this 22nd day of July. Hall of Fame induction day out in Cooperstown. Going for the sweep here today are Dusty's Reds. Aoki leads it off. First pitch in there for a called strike. Underway. And he got Braun on strikes.
Now, one of the keys to success the Reds have had in this series so far against the Brewers is the fact that they've kept Ryan Braun very quiet. And he just gets challenged by Johnny Cueto, fastball after fastball and that at bat, and he just throws it right by him. Boy, you don't see that happen very often. Ryan Braun's body language really reflects that of the entire Brewer team. They came in here thinking they'd have to have at least 2 out of 3 from the Reds, maybe even a sweep to give them a legitimate shot of staying in this race. They came in 7.5 back. They are now 9.5 back. I imagine it's going to open up the doors for, if not a fire sale, certainly some trading activity, because you know that their general manager, Doug Melvin, he likes to pull the trigger on a few trades.
Toward right. Here comes Bruce. Here comes Bruce. Oh, he can't get there. That's a fair ball. And it bounces into the stands. That's going to be a ground rule double. That'll be a break for the Reds, because Morgan, who right now has touched the plate, will have to go back to third. Bruce was charging over there. Reached out for the ball. That's going to be a ground rule double. And here comes Jay Bruce in to talk to the umpire. What did they think they see here?
Well, Jay Bruce thinks that that ball bounced foul territory, but we just showed you on the replay it hits his glove and then bounces in fair territory. It's actually where the ball is when it's made contact by the fielder, not where the fielder is standing. It's not like in basketball where you can lean out of bounds and save a ball and throw it back in. You can't do that in baseball. It's where the ball is, and it's obviously a fair ball. The Reds have had a couple just off the end of their mittens here in the first inning. Cueto has been in this situation 13 other times so far this year. He has yet to give up a hit. This bottom line right there, 0 for 13 this year with bases loaded. That's incredible, because with bases loaded, the batter knows that the pitcher's got to throw a strike.
Here comes the 30th pitch of the inning, and he got him. The National League leader in strikeouts, Ricky Weeks, strikes out to end the first inning here in Cincinnati, and the Brewers leave him loaded. Earlier today, they said don't be surprised if you see Joey Votto ready to go in that Pittsburgh series. Strikeout of Braun for the second time here today.
With both times with runner in scoring position, he just takes care of Ryan Braun. Last time it was a fastball down. This time he goes up the ladder. Boy, you just do not see that happen to Ryan Braun time after time like it has so far in this series, especially in this ball game. Chapman did it. Now Cueto's done it twice.
Frazier throws out Hart. Top of the third comes to an end, but the Brewers take their first lead of this 3-game series with an RBI single by Ramirez. He's in the leadoff spot and playing center field. 20th start of the year in center for Chris. Of course, he made the bulk of the starts out there when Drew Stubbs was on the disabled list. Stubbs, after a hot start to that leadoff spot, 1 for his last 13, sits out today. So Heisey now 1 for his last 11. Pretty good bunter. Now he's at 2-1. Carlson says strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You still keeping your numbers on these guys?
I am. And last year, it's kind of funny because Carlson last year was really more of a pitcher's umpire, 64% strikes. This year around 61.9.
Heisey on a 2-2 pitch will get himself a base hit into right. Another tying run is on with 1 out. He's not calling as many strikes this year as he was last.
No, about 2% fewer, but it really doesn't bother Heisey right here. But what about when we go to Houston? If you're keeping up with the pitching matchups, here they are. Matt Latos will face the left-hander Wandy Rodriguez. Rodriguez always seems to pitch well against the Reds. Mike Leake against Lucas Harrell, and the long, tall Texan himself, Homer Bailey, against Bud Norris.
And not only is Bailey throwing the ball well, but he always seems to throw very well down in Houston, doesn't he?
Sure does.
In that first game tomorrow, Wandy Rodriguez with a runner going on a hit and run. They are going to get the steal. from Chris Heisey, his 4th of the year.
Now Ron Reddick is going to run out there, get a little exercise, to go out and talk to the second base umpire and see if he can change his mind on that. You can see the way Heisey's looking back to see what happened to the baseball. Tim Timmons is the umpire out there, and
hard to see as to whether he actually tagged him on the jersey there or not. We'll go with Tim Timmons and say you are exactly right, sir.
That's amazing. I mean, as we see it from every different angle, slow it down to fractions of a second, and sometimes still we can't tell.
Right. Through all that now, a couple of opportunities for the Reds to get the tying run home. The first one falls to Valdez.
So really, if you're a manager in a situation like that, and you're not sure, you see your shortstop react like, I had him. You run out there, what do you say to the umpire? Are you sure?
Where did he get him?
What was that call again? Where did he get him? That's a good question.
Or in that case, where did he not get him? It looked like he tagged him on the jersey. Valdez waits on that breaking ball, slaps it into center. Mark Berry has Heisey coming to the plate. Here comes the throw. Not in time. Game tied. 1-1 on an RBI single by Wilson Valdez, who did a great job of waiting on that breaking ball, slapping it into right center.
Remember that the Reds have never seen Mike Fiers before, and it takes a little while to kind of understand what that guy's arsenal is, and he just throws that breaking ball up there earlier in the game. That may result in a pop-up here right now. Wilson Valdez waits on it. Chris Heisey sees it as the base hit. He gets waved around all the way by Mark Berry at third base. Neither Nyjer Morgan or T. Plush have much of an arm out there. So you're going to run that guy every time you can.
So really, they play with 4 outfielders.
Yeah. One's invisible.
Saw Aoki play center field yesterday, and I think it was you who made the comment that said in a ballpark like this, he's got a decent arm, but maybe not in some of the bigger parks around the league, like a San Diego.
Well, there's no reason really in this ballpark to play deep. In fact, from a pitcher standpoint, you'd really much rather be rewarded for making a good pitch where you saw somebody off or get a guy out on the end of the bat and have him make an out on a bloop. Now, if I make a bad pitch as a pitcher and the guy hits it over the outfielder's head, you know, that's my fault. If the outfielder can go back and make that great catch, I'm all happy about that. But I'd much rather be rewarded for a good pitch rather than not. Pitchers just don't like seeing those balls blooped in there, like the one that Wilson Valdez and Heisey have hit in that inning, for instance. Neither of them very well hit. Both bloops resulted in a run.
Boy, interesting, Chris. You take a look at the way that Hart is holding on Valdez down there. He's about a step and a half or so off the base and trying to hold on the runner. See him get set up here. Look at that. Going to be an error on the pitcher that ball gets away. Valdez motoring on his way to third. The throw is wide, and a 2-base throwing error has given the Reds an opportunity to jump in front here in the third.
Well, sometimes it's a tough lesson to learn for right-handed pitchers that you simply are probably not going to pick a guy off. I mean, look at that. Wilson Valdez is going back in the bag standing up. He doesn't even feel like he needs to dive back. Your move isn't that good, but yet you push a runner over 2 bases by throwing it by the first baseman. And now you got another easy RBI chance now for Brandon Phillips.
Forces the Brewers to move their infield in. Runner at third with less than 2 out. Phillips will line this ball towards center. Valdez will tag. Morgan makes the catch. Here comes the runner. Look at that throw way offline. Sacrifice fly, Brandon Phillips, RBI number 58. And it's a 2-1 Reds lead. And that lead goes directly to the throwing error by the pitcher fires and the ability of Phillips to make contact.
Well, yeah, you know, you got to convert the chances that you get. You open a door with an error, you run a guy from first all the way to third base, and Fires knows when he sees that ball coming off the bat, it's going to the weakest arm in the outfield. Wilson Valdez will prance right on home. Morgan gets about as good a running start as you can on this.
Cueto, after a slow start in terms of pitch efficiency, has really picked up the pace. He's only at 103 pitches now and out away from getting through the sixth. He had a 30-plus pitch inning in the first inning of this game. Now he's trying to retire his tourist here. Get through 6 with a lead. Got him. Johnny gets number 8. Pardon me, number 9, and that matches a season high for the big right-hander. He gets the K, and the lead intact as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Johnny Cueto is equal to his season high in terms of strikeouts with 9. He had fanned 9 Twins back on the 23rd of June. He struck out 9 Brewers here today. Only 1 walk, and remember that was an intentional walk back in the first inning. Innings away from getting his 12th victory, would equal a career best for the right-hander from the Dominican, 26 years old. He's going to run on 7 hits as he prepares for inning number 7. He's sitting at 105 pitches thus far. Your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. Past the lunging Cairo. Base hit for Aoki. He's going to try for 2. He'll get there as Jay's momentum was carrying him toward the corner. Aoki has himself his 2nd double of this game, and there's the tying run aboard with 1 out.
Nice little player. He had a double the opposite field right down the left field line his 2nd time up. This time he pulls the ball. That's a fastball on the inner part of the plate. Instead of slapping it the other way, he rips it right by the first baseman Cairo.
And now Cueto will bear down. He's sitting at 114 pitches. Reds have action in the pen. Sam LeCure gets up, starts to throw. He worked 2/3 of an inning last night. Nyjer Morgan 1 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. This is going to move the runner up. Valdez has to hurry and gets Morgan at first. That one sounded like it went right off the end of the bat. Now you've got Ryan Braun. Tying run 90 feet away. Ramos Ramirez on deck. Braun lifetime, including today, 7 of 28, 250 average against Johnny Cueto. Ramos Ramirez 2 for 3 today. Lifetime 11 of 33, 333 with a couple of home runs. On a strikeout in the first, a strikeout in the third, an infield hit, and a hard ground ball to the left of the third baseman Frazier in the 5th. Braun under contract with the Brewers through the year 2020. Signed a 5-year extension. Initial contract runs out in 15. He signed an extension through 2020. He's a Brewer for life. Out of the University of Miami. Cueto due up 3rd in the bottom of the 7th. He jams Braun here and gets a lazy fly ball into center. It's a heck of a piece of work right there. Caught in center by Heisey. Braun gone. He's 1 for 4.
Well, the numbers for Aroldis Chapman are just simply ridiculous. I mean, when is the last time that you saw a guy, month of April, 0 earned run average, May, 0, June, yeah, blip up, but he still struck out 20 batters. And as a closer here in the month of July, he has struck out 20. He has walked 1. Opponent batting average, 0.76. It's like Aroldis Chapman goes out and faces a team full of pitchers. That's the kind of numbers that he is racking up. But he does not have much margin for error right here. He has the bottom of the order, number 9, then 1 and 2 to face. And all 38,000 plus here on this great Sunday afternoon looking for a Red sweep. Hope that Chapman is up to the challenge and got has strikeout pitch working.
Got him. 26 of the last 32 outs now by Chapman, recorded by a strikeout.
Aroldis Chapman, who seems to be overthrowing the ball a little bit in this at bat, but he gets his man. Let's take a look at it. Pitch by Mazda. First pitch fastball for a strike, then the slider. And at that point, if you're Cody Ransom, you're thinking, oh no, what am I going to do? You lay off a high fastball, lay off or foul one off right there, lay off another high one, and then you can't hold on back anymore. You chase that high, baby, and you drag it on back to the pine.
Gomez draws the walk, ending a streak of 15 straight batters retired by Chapman, dating back to a week ago Saturday when he walked for call the Cardinals to start his 9th inning outing in that game. The tying run on, and it'll bring Ryan Braun to the plate. Braun, a strikeout victim against Chapman on 3 pitches in the 9th Friday night.
Braun trying to take control, at least a little bit of control, as much as he can in this at bat. Calling a late timeout right there, making Chapman step off. He's looking to jump on the first pitch if he likes it. Reds are playing no doubles, outfield up against the wall out there. He got a pitch similar to that on Friday night. Got a strikeout from Chapman. Hannigan outside. That ball really to his strength. That's where Braun would prefer to have him, on the outer part of the plate, not actually down around the hollow of the knees. He likes him about thigh high, but he can drive that ball a long way going the other way if he gets a sweet spot on it.
The runner going, and the throw. Save for second base. A steal by Gomez.
Well, that's a smart,
high throw there.
Smart play by Gomez right there, and he'll get a stolen base on it. You know, if you've got a pitcher with a big high leg lift and you're caught, you might as well just keep on running. And you see the very little throwing lane right there. Late getting over there is a shortstop, even though he would have been there in time. But the high throw enables him to get in there under the tag.
Now a single could tie this game. League leader in long balls at the plate, and Ryan Braun, defending MVP of the National League. Now he's got him over a barrel at 2 strikes. Cueto watches watching intently. His 12th win of the year on the line. Boy, these fans are roaring now.
Now, this is a great matchup, though. One of the best hitters in the league against the hottest pitcher in the league.
Got him.
Slide out.
Reds win. 2 times in this series, Braun was up there against Chapman. Both times he goes down swinging. He didn't get the hard stuff. He got the breaking ball. And the Reds win 2-1. Sweep the series over Milwaukee. Johnny, a happy man. He pops over that dugout fencing, his 12th win of the year, equaling a career high for him. Chapman with his 17th save. Reds go to 15 games above the 500 mark and maintain their half-game lead in the National League Central. More from Great American Ballpark right after this.
Tonight, the Cincinnati Reds come to Minute Maid Park to start a 3-game set. The Reds have won 11 of 13 games and hold a slim lead for the division title. Wandy Rodriguez gets the nod for the Astros. He tries to get back on track. The Astros take on the Reds next on Fox Sports Houston.
The Astros take on the Cincinnati Reds in the first game of a set here at the ballpark. The Reds come in a half game to the good side in first place in the National League Central. The Astros come into this game 3 games in the good in the win-loss record at home, 24-21.
And we'll check the starting lineup for Dusty Baker, brought to you by Hyundai. Zach Cozart, shortstop. Drew Stubbs, center field. Brandon Phillips, second base. Ryan Ludwig, left field. Todd Frazier, first base. Scott Rowland, third. Chris Heisey in right field. Ryan Hannigan, the catcher for Matt Latos.
Well, against Cincinnati, Wandy has made almost a season's worth of starts. 25 times he started against Cincinnati. He's 8-9 with a 4.42 ERA. 2 of those starts have come this year. He won one and he lost one. The last time out, he got knocked around, as I mentioned earlier. 9 runs allowed in 5 innings in that start. And that was here back on June 2nd.
Drew Stubbs, who's led off quite a bit for Cincinnati this season. There's a liner into right field. Stubbs punched that one the other way, and he's on with a 1-out single.
I don't know the particulars of Ichiro's contract, but I'm guessing he had to sign off on that deal.
Probably so.
Probably thought, well, chance to go play under the bright lights of New York, get into the postseason.
Well, JD, here's guessing Dusty Baker would like to see a lot more of that type hitting from Drew Stubbs, taking one the other way. Get that batting average up there. He's aboard for Brandon Phillips. Phillips strong at .292 with 12 homers. 58 runs batted in. And Reds fans were upset that he was not a part of that all-star team this year. He was one of the snubs. 12 homers, he's driven in 58 and a .783 OPS for Phillips. He was an all-star last year.
All right, just being a snub is good. I always wanted to be a snub. I would have settled for a snub.
14 double play balls and 70 opportunities. And that's a high number.
He's 12 out of 50 against Wandy in his career, a .240 batting average with 1 long ball.
Wandy with 8 wins in 17 career decisions against Cincinnati. That ties his victory high against any club in the National League. Stubbs runs well. He's 18 for 22 in steals. That's hit off the end of the bat. And a long run for Jordan Schaefer into right center, and Altuve's out sliding. Here's the play at second, and it's a dunking hit. Little pop fly single for Phillips right in between Altuve and Schaefer.
Yeah, nice effort here by Jose, but he had a long way to go. Schaefer's first step was back, and you see the big swing from Phillips. You see this a lot from a center fielder where he'll freeze, maybe even go back a couple of steps before realizing, nope, I got to come in. And you see Jordan coming into this picture late there. Tough read for an outfielder, tough break for a pitcher.
Frazier's moved over to first base with the absence of Votto affecting this Reds lineup, giving them this right-handed batter instead of the lefty power hitter in Votto. But Frazier's done well as Scott Rowland has come back from an injury to reclaim playing time at third where Frazier was playing. Todd, another rookie, 26 years old. He's posted some nice numbers for Dusty Baker. That's a strike to make it 3-1 to him.
The Reds certainly, their pitching has been very good this year. They have to feel, Dusty Baker has to feel like his situation is a little tenuous still. With Votto being hurt and rolling with his injury history, you just don't know how many days you're going to be able to play him. So they're a little vulnerable offensively right now.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The runner at first, Phillips, will be on his way. Chris Snyder reminding everybody of that. Reds are 4-2 against the Astros. They are 2-1 here at Minute Maid this season. Fouled away. And the Reds have won 16 of their last 25 games in this ballpark. It's quite a race with the Reds a half game in front of the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are playing the Chicago Cubs in Pittsburgh tonight. In the middle of the 4th inning, it's 1-0 Chicago.
This guy Frazier, he's the one that saved somebody's life earlier this year, didn't he?
Sure did.
Heimlich somebody?
Yes, he did.
It's a pretty good year.
It was in Pittsburgh. And a couple of other diners attempted the Heimlich, but didn't get it done. So Todd Frazier stepped up and may have saved someone's life.
Yeah. Kind of your job. Well, I hit 280, drove in 70 runs, and saved 1 life. That's a solid year. If you can take that to arbitration.
He hits one out to left. That ball falling fast. That's in for a base hit, and a run batted in for Todd Frazier. There's one of those classic Frazier swings, and it produces an RBI.
Well, he stayed alive earlier in the at bat, fouled off a couple of marginal pitches, wasn't sure whether they'd be balls or strikes, so he got the wood on him and fouled them off and just stayed alive until he was able to dunk it in there. I mean, the more you see Todd Frazier play, the more you see him do this on an everyday basis.
1 ball, 1 strike to Drew Stubbs. He singled to right field to start a rally and scored the run in the 1st inning. Strike to Stubbs, who's from Texarkana, Texas. It's a 1 ball, 2 strike count to Drew.
You know, the oldest living twins are 107 years old.
Wow.
They're living in the Ukraine.
That's a little looper into right field, and Stubbs has 2 hits in that direction.
Something for those ladies to shoot for. Well, another soft hit there. It wasn't a real good pitch. It was a bit of a lazy breaking ball that was up in the zone. Stubbs using that outfield approach again, and it pays off for him.
Where are we? A bread concert?
Yeah.
All the soft hits we're seeing here. And Phillips is coming up next. He singled to right center in the 1st inning. That's 4 hits, and 3 of them have been pretty soft. Runner going, swing and a miss, and Snyder couldn't come up with it, so it's an easy stolen base for Stubbs and a strikeout of Phillips. 1 out. 2nd strikeout for Wandy.
Stubbs picked a good pitch to go on, a breaking ball down. Swing and a miss by Phillips. Phillips trying to make the argument that he got a piece of that ball, but Barksdale would have none of it.
19 steals now for Stubbs in 23 attempts. That's a very, very enviable percentage. But Billy Hamilton is setting a whole different stolen base pace in the minor leagues for the Reds. He's stolen 112. Ryan Ludwig, the batter.
Yeah, he's the new incarnation of sliding Billy Hamilton. It'll be fun to watch that kid play when he gets to the big leagues.
You bet it is.
Toward the alley in left center. This will jump the RBI total of Ludwig as Stubbs will score his second run of the night. Double for Ryan Ludwig, RBI 42. And it's a 2-0 game in favor of Cincinnati on a 2-base hit.
We're really seeing Ryan Ludwig kind of locked in. I mean, his batting average is still in the 230s, but he's hitting the ball so hard. His swing is so flat. And he just seems to be getting his foot down in time, and his timing is perfect. Get your foot down and swing and find a gap. Wandy Rodriguez, first pitch fastball right there.
Roland looks at that one, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Wandy takes a little walk.
Well, he's got a base open. He may want a fresh start with Heisey, so we'll see how he goes after Roland here. 3-1. Yeah, tried to clip that outside corner, but didn't want to give in. That's not a bad 3-1 pitch.
Second walk. And it's Heisey coming up. Heisey grounded out in the second inning. Really not that close. Strategically placed by Wandy. Heisey's 27. He's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Went to Messiah College. 17th round draft choice in 06.
He's going to get one to fall into right center and a base hit. Ludwig will score. Hustling over to third is Roland. Heisey comes through with the base hit. Give him his 20th RBI. Reds have played it 2 now in this inning and have taken a 3-0 lead.
Well, they're getting a lot of first pitch fastballs, and I think that's the scouting report that they were given, that Rodriguez will throw you heaters early in the count. Be ready for it. Ryan Ludwig was ready. Chris Heisey is ready. Gets one right here, and he lashes it into right center field. Boy, don't you just feel the difference in energy between these two ball clubs? You've got one team in first place.
All right, Wilton Lopez comes in. He's 3-0 with a 2.23 earned run average, working the 7th inning. In this case, the Astros are trailing, and he's come in to keep it close. Todd Frazier's coming up next. Frazier made it 1-0 Reds in the first inning with a 2-out single. He's 1 for 3. Wilton is pitching for the 4th time since he returned from the disabled list. So far, he's pitched 4 shutout innings over 3 appearances. Ground ball, and that will be right between third and short. Frazier picked a good spot for his second hit of the night.
It's all right. Keep throwing those ground balls, and things are going to work out just fine for Wilton Lopez. This one, though, up a little bit. He hits it hard.
That's hit number 8. Billy Hatcher, your former teammate, down there at first base, coaching for the Reds. Scott Rowland is 0 for 2 with a walk.
That's one of the best.
He really is.
Solid guy.
Well, you know, he married Karen when Karen was working for the Astros. And I believe the story went that he asked Karen out for a date. Karen said, "I don't date ball players." And he really had to work on that.
Shoots this ball down the right field line. That may get a run home. Frazier hustling around third. He's going to score easily. And there is Roland thinking hard about going to third, but then puts on the brakes and stays put. Roland gets RBI number 21 with his 9th double. And it's a 4-2 2-run lead again for the Reds.
Well, a hit and run action right there, and you could not do it any better than what Scott Rowland did right there. You know you're going to get a strike from Wilton Lopez. He throws a lot of strikes. So you put the hit and run on, you put the runner in motion. Scott Rowland, he wants to hit behind the runner if he can. And what a great inside out swing right down the right field line. Pockets down in the corner, and that'll get the run in.
Now they have Heisey batting. Heisey drove in run number 3 in the 3rd inning with a single to right center. Hit that scorching line drive. And so it is a 4.5 game lead. Line drive right field. Maxwell comes up. Stop sign at third. And here goes the runner into second. Fake throw as Heisey just keeps on going. After the single getting Roland to third, he made it into second. Now Jay Bruce of Beaumont is going to pinch hit. Bruce is ranking high on the home run list this year, and he's not going to be facing Wilton Lopez. And Jay has hit 4 home runs against the Astros this season. And he did not start against Wandy Rodriguez. His numbers were not at all good against Wandy, but now he's going to come up in a pinch hitting role. Lopez going out of the game. Wesley Wright coming in. 4-2 Cincinnati. Right back after this.
And into right, a pinch hit base hit by Bruce. With a runner from first, Hannigan on the move. He'll end up at third. Heisey scores. Nicely done by Jay Bruce with 2 strikes on him. Gets his 60th RBI.
Well, he finally gets the breaking ball. Good job by Jay Bruce to stay alive. It looked like he was being overpowered in that at bat. Wesley Wright decides to go to a 2-2 breaking ball right here. And he just kind of overthrows that baby. That was a fastball. I don't know, but I thought it was a breaking ball. He just kind of hung it in on the inner part of the plate, and Bruce lines it into right field.
EDR had 54 major league appearances last year with the Astros, 11 the year before with Houston and Cincinnati. Liner left field. Phillips out of the box heading for second base. That one goes off the base of the wall. He'll make it easily to second with his 3rd hit of the night and 17th double of the year for Phillips.
Well, the Reds continue to win despite the fact that Joey Votto is on the disabled list, and Brandon Phillips has been a big part of it. He was hitting .395 since the All-Star break coming into play tonight, so well up over .400 now in the second half.
He's been there at just the right time for them with the Votto injury. And since the Votto trip to the DL, he was 7 for 22 with 2 homers and 8 runs batted in, batting third coming into this game. Ludwig is 1 for 4 with an RBI. There goes Phillips for third. He's going to make it without a play. That's 7 for 7 in steals for Phillips. The pitch was ball 1.
Now, that's a fairly long delivery now for EDR when he drops down like that. He's going to be very vulnerable to the stolen base.
Infield in now. In the air foul. With Snyder over. That will be out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. They'll scramble for it. Washington Nationals with their 10-inning win over the Mets, 8-2, are now 7-3 against the Mets this year. Mets have now lost 10 of 11. They had not been below 500 all year until yesterday.
Yeah, you can kind of see that coming.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he overachieved.
2 balls, 1 strike with the infield in on Ludwig.
Reds get 2 in the 7th, threatening here in the 8th, and Ludwig hits one into center. That is indeed an RBI single with Phillips scoring, and it happens just like you suggested.
And it's a 4-run lead for Dusty Baker's club.
Six-2 Reds here in the 8th. Frazier making a bid for another hit. That will get down and one hop the wall. His 3rd hit of the night. Here comes Ludwig to the plate. 2nd RBI of the evening for Todd Frazier. Gives him 33 on the year. Been a 2-run inning, and it is now 7-2 Reds.
Well, the right-hander Del Rosario not fooling anybody because he's throwing that ball middle, inner third, middle height that is, and inner third part of the plate, and that's just simply good hitting for a good fastball hitter like Todd Frazier.
Now Sam LeCure, the pitcher, gets an at bat. He entered in the double switch, batting 7th. So there's a hit batter, and LeCure is on, hit by the pitch. And now he's working to Hannigan. who looks at strike one. The Reds are second in scoring from the 7th inning on with 139 runs. And their bullpen victory total of 19 reflected by what they do in the late innings.
Base hit into left by Hannigan. Going to produce Frazier, who he slides across. Hannigan gets his first run batted in of the night, number 12 on the year. Now been a 3-run inning, and it's now 8-2 Reds. New pitcher Fernando Abad greeted with a base hit.
Sean Marshall trying to nail it down. He's thrown 24 pitches. And it's 1-2. As you indicated, he was the closer earlier this year, but then Aroldis Chapman took off in that role. And Chapman has been something else. He will register triple digits on his fastball with regularity. JD takes off for second, and he'll make it without a play. It's defensive indifference allowing him to get to second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes with Chris Snyder on deck. And that'll do it. The Reds, who have been on quite a run, make it 5 straight wins and 12 of their last 14. They capture the opener of this series. Matt Latos winning his 8th. Beating Wandy Rodriguez, who goes to 7-9. Marshall, pitcher number 5, gets the final outs of an 8-3 Reds win over the Astros tonight.
Well, the Astros are going to see Francisco Cordero going for his 330th career save in his first appearance in a save opportunity. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies will be calling the action and see if he does it, guys.
He is an experienced hand with 2 saves and 5 opportunities this season. He was more of a setup man for Toronto, JD.
They got about 150 of those big league saves with the Cincinnati Reds, so this is kind of interesting. He worked for the Reds from 2008 through last year. It's the breakdown of what he's done. He's made 1 appearance the other day in Arizona with the Astros, so all but that done with the Blue Jays. Francisco in his prime, an extreme hard thrower. That is no longer the case. Fastball still pretty good, though, about 90 to 93 miles an hour. There's a lot of sliders, good changeup, and the occasional curveball. And you see where he ranks among active pitchers, all-time saves. Mariano Rivera at 608, then Cordero leading the rest of the active pack.
Cozart 0 for 4 tonight.
A hittable pitch there for Ludwig. He just didn't get the head of the bat out in front, and Francisco's got the first out.
Upstairs, ball 1. He, of course, is excited to have this opportunity to close again after all the saves he's piled up in his career. Taking over for Brett Myers, who now is mostly a setup man with the White Sox, so they flip-flop roles in the trade. Leak through 112 pitches in his 8-inning effort. He walked 1 and fanned 6. Cordero delivers a strike. That makes it 2-1 to Cozart with Stubbs on deck. Cordero came up with the Tigers in '99. Then he established himself as a Rangers closer. 3 balls and a strike. First big year in saves was 04 when he was an All-Star. He had 49 saves that year in 54 attempts. Through the hole into left. Cozart with a hit. And he's aboard for Stubbs, who has 2 hits and a walk tonight.
Good at bat there by the rookie Cozart, showing some patience, working his way into a hitter's count, and then taking advantage of it.
Cozart alongside the coach Billy Hatcher will take his lead with Stubbs the batter and Phillips on deck. When Cordero joined Cincinnati in 08, he became an All-Star for the 2nd time in his career, and then repeated that in 09 with the Reds. There's ball one. Cordero used to give the Astros fits. He was 24 for 24 in save opportunities against Houston for his career. And he steams a throw over on Cozart, who's 3 for 3 in steals. Stay tuned for Astros Live following the game. And we'll have some comments that Jeff Luhnow will be making in his press conference after the big trade. It's 2-0 now to Stubbs.
Wandy, the last Astro that was part of that World Series team in 2005.
Here's a high drive to left field. Is it enough? It is. A 2-run home run. Drew Stubbs, and Cincinnati has taken a 3-2 lead.
Drew Stubbs against his old teammate Cordero hits his 10th of the year. A one-out single by Cozart, and Stubbs comes through.
What a comeback by this ball club. They looked like they were out of it. Cordero retired the first man, gave up a base hit, and then hangs him right there. And that's a Crawford boxes homer right down the line.
The Reds are third in the league in long balls. That's number 106 for them.
It's going to get the Cuban Missile up in the Reds bullpen, I'm sure.
Bruce takes a walk, his third in a row. He had 36 walks all season coming into this game. Scott Rowland with a single to left in the 8th inning is 1 for 4. Way up, and that one sails over the catcher Chris Snyder and allows Bruce to get to second base on a wild pitch. That scattered the folks behind the screen. It's Boston 1, Texas 1. They go to the bottom of the 8th in Arlington. Ball 2, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. Xavier Paul's on deck. It's 3-0 for Cordero. If the White Sox can knock off the Twins, they will slice a game off that Detroit lead, move into a share of the lead, in fact, in the AL Central. Rowland takes a 4-pitch walk.
Not the debut Cordero wanted to make here at Minute Maid Park, with Chris Snyder out with his arm around him. Now Doug Brocail out as well. And he just, the last 2 hitters, maybe not trusting his stuff in the strike zone, hoping to get them to chase.
Two men on, and it's Paul who has a pair of hits and an RBI. The Astros down by 1, really essential for Cordero to get out of this inning with no more runs crossing, because scoring against Chapman is a very difficult assignment. Johnson, Maxwell, and Francisco will be coming up against him in the bottom of the 9th inning. Ball 1 to Paul. Kansas City has a 4-1 lead at Anaheim over the Angels. Lorenzo Cain hitting his 3rd home run of the year. Angels 5 behind the Texas Rangers. 2 balls, no strikes. Yankees in Seattle are tied 1-1 with Ichiro in that Yankee lineup facing Felix Hernandez. Good matchup. Curtis Granderson did his 27.
They had Ichiro hitting 8th last night.
Yeah.
Of course, his numbers are way down.
He's wearing the number 31. Did you hear what Dave Winfield said?
No.
He said, well, a lot of guys have worn number 31, but none as well as I did. There's Fernando Rodriguez. Now Chris Johnson calling time coming in. Ichiro chose not to take the 51 worn by Bernie Williams out of tribute to Bernie.
You didn't want to pay that tribute to Big Wimp?
Evidently not.
Come on, Winnie's a Hall of Famer. Bernie's not.
Good point.
It's Bernie, the Yankee through and through, and when he traveled about.
Yeah. 3-1. Giants got 2 in the first, but San Diego has tied it with 2 in the top of the 2nd inning. 2-2 at San Francisco against Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, another good matchup. Volquez going for the Padres tonight. Coming off his first ever shutout as a major leaguer. He did that against the Astros.
Runners at first and second will be going.
That was the Herald game, right?
Yeah. 3-2, 2 outs. 28 pitches now for Cordero tonight.
Now the runners will be moving here. Into right. That's a hit for Paul. Bruce will score. A little cushion for the Reds now. It's a 2-run lead at 4-2. They've scored 3 times here in the 9th. And a nice night for Xavier Paul. His 3rd hit, his 2nd RBI in his first Red start.
Well, he may get another start real soon if he continues this. Xavier Paul drives the 2nd run of the ball game in. This on a ball that's low and away. A good pitch by Cordero. Boy, this is just a shell of what we remember with San Francisco Cordero. Man, you just got to figure that the role that this young man is on right now is simply unprecedented. Haven't seen anybody that comes in, strikeouts the number of batters that he does. 86 batters struck out in 45 innings. And he's only walked 14.
And that's the first out of the inning. 3 pitches and down goes Maxwell on strikes.
How about 102 miles an hour? Right now, that is what the fans here are reacting to. When that scoreboard flashes up 102 on this low fastball. Maxwell thinks it's low.
And he gets his 2nd strikeout of this night. He gets Francisco at 100 miles an hour for the 2nd out.
Boy, Aroldis must really like this mound here at Minute Maid Ballpark, because he has come up and thrown almost every one of his pitches in triple digits. He's reached 102, and that is just gas.
Got it. Strikeout of Downs, the pinch hitter. Reds win. They win the first 2 games of this series down in Houston. They've won 6 in a row, 13 of their last 15, and now push the Pirates, the 2nd place club in the Central, 2.5 games back thanks to a 3-run 9th inning.
The beauty of baseball. Mr. Cordero has a chance to redeem himself just 24 hours later.
It helps to have a short memory as a closer. He had a rough night last night with a blown save and a loss, giving up 3 hits and 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning, throwing 29 pitches, coming in with a 2-1 lead in the 9th inning and giving up the 2-run homer to Drew Stubbs.
How big is that Bogasevic play now, throwing that base runner out at home plate?
Oh, yeah. Now Xavier Paul, the pinch hitter for Valdez, will lead it off to give Dusty Baker a left-handed batter. As a career pinch hitter, he's at 113, 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. But He swung the bat pretty well in this series. Alfredo Simon warming up for the Reds. Ball one to Paul. Paul started last night. He had 3 hits and drove in 2 runs, stole a base. Showing bunt. He looks at a strike. Cordero and a Red. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cordero, 37 years old. Last year he pitched 68 times for the Reds, saving 37 in 43 tries. He's from the Dominican.
There's Rocco on deck, and then the pitcher spot, and I'm guessing Heisey there. Heisey's been their best pinch hitter.
Yeah, unless they want to use Phillips, but sometimes.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make. And if you got a weapon like Brandon Phillips on your bench, you'd hate to see this inning pass without giving him a chance.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cordero signed with Detroit in '94. Then he was a Texas Ranger. Milwaukee Brewer. Signed a 4-year deal as a free agent with the Reds after the '07 season. Traded by Toronto to Houston. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Ben Francisco and a covey of minor leaguers coming to the Houston organization. That's roped to right field. Bogusevic back. That one kicks off the wall, and that'll give Paul a chance to get to second base with a pinch double to open the 9th inning.
Francisco inserted into this closer spot after the trade of Myers because of all the experience that he's had, but Cordero was not having a good year in Toronto, and interesting to see how long Brad Mills goes with him. And it's just a second save opportunity. Wasn't good last night. Leadoff double here by Paul.
Now Dusty Baker calls on a 3rd consecutive pinch hitter, Brandon Phillips. Phillips was getting a night off. He's hitting .298, 12 homers, 58 runs batted in, 352 at bats. He's 0 for 1 pinch hitting. He's 1 for 9 with 5 punch outs against Cordero. Leads Major League second baseman in runs batted in. Strike 1 to Phillips. He looks right around at Mike Machlinski after that call. Reds pinch hitters have delivered 23 hits and 96 at bats coming into this one, and Paul came through.
Francisco catches a break there. We'll see with Machlinski. Kind of go back and forth out there today. Sometimes good, sometimes not.
Cordero with Toronto at a 5.77 ERA and 41 appearances with 2 saves. That's a foul ball. He tried to get out of the way. It hit his bat, and it's 0-2. Phillips winding up on the seat of his pants.
2-seam runner moving in on Phillips. Loading up, ready to go, and then can't get out of the way, and the Astros get a strike out of it. How about that?
Yep. Phillips has hit .417 since the All-Star break, going 20 for 48. 2 homers and 10 runs batted in. It's 1-2. Phillips drove in 92 last year. Big part of what the Reds are doing offensively and defensively this year. They gave him a contract extension through 2017. Foul away. Jared Weaver won his 13th for the Angels, 11-6 over Kansas City and Anaheim. He's 13-1 with a 2.26 ERA.
Not bad.
Wow. He beat Luke Hochever. Mike Trout hit another one, 16. Billy Butler, number 20 for the Royals. Foul, and it's still 1-2. Cozart's on deck. Cordero with 329 career saves, trying to nail this one down. He's pitcher number 5. Second to Mariano Rivera. Rivera, according to recent reports, will not be back for the Yankees this year. There's a good stop by Snyder. 2-2.
Trying to get a swing and miss with a slider off the edge and down. Not close enough to get Phillips to bite. Snyder able to keep it in front. No advance for Paul.
They go to the 10th in St. Louis. Dodgers 2, Cardinals 2.
Brandon Phillips has only had one pinch hit at bat this year.
Yeah. 3-2 now. It's a 3-2 ball game. The Astros got the lead with 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it was 2-0 after run number 1 scored in the 3rd for the Reds, and they got the 2nd run home in the 8th inning. Now Cordero trying to nail it down with a runner at 2nd and 1 out. Whoa, that's ball 4. Now 2 outs, and it's Stubbs. He had the RBI double in the 3rd. He's 1 for 4.
Stubbs had the home run off Cordero last night in the 9th. No way he's going to do it twice.
He had a 2-0 count and he hit a slider.
Greg talked about baseball offering the chance of redemption. This is ultimate redemption to get the guy who got you the night before.
Boy, isn't it though? Ball 1 for Cordero with Jay Bruce on deck.
And he drives this ball pretty well out toward left center field, up against the wall. That ball is off the wall. 1 run will score to tie it. Here comes Phillips to score. He is in there standing up. That's a 2-run double for Drew Stubbs. And how about not once but twice in 2 nights against the former Red Cordero. Drew Stubbs has come through in the clutch.
Coming back home to the state of Texas, Drew Stubbs loves it. The Reds are down to their last out. And he hits the ball way deep off the wall to left center field. Here's the pitch right now. He gets hit that fastball right back over the plate. And Drew Stubbs puts a nice smooth swing on it. And wow, how about this Reds ball club?
Well, the first 2 at-bats ever by Stubbs against Cordero result in 2 huge hits down here in Houston. Cordero obviously very upset right there. 2nd consecutive blown save for him in his first 2 appearances at home as an Astro. Brad Mills comes out. He's going to make a double change here. The Reds have regained the lead 4-3. Cordero leads to spattering of boos. And the new pitcher on will be Fernando Abad. He comes on for the Astros. 4-3 Reds in the 9th.
And the new pitcher is Fernando Abad. He's pitcher number 6 tonight for Brad Mills. He has an ERA of 3.91 with no wins and no losses.
He's got the dangerous Jay Bruce scheduled to bat here. And then Ryan Ludwig.
Bruce got a hit in the 8th inning. Off the lefty Cedeno. He's 1 for 3 with a walk. Ludwig on deck with the Reds having out hit the Astros 9-7, leading it now 4-3 despite making 4 errors tonight. Abad delivers ball one. He pitched Monday night, one scoreless inning, allowing 2 hits and getting a strikeout. Since the end of April, his ERA is 2.95. He was on the DL. There's a ball to Bruce, and that makes it 2-0 for Abad.
Bruce should be looking to come out of his shoes here.
There's a bouncer foul. A lot of folks are probably looking to do that right now too, JD. Time is at 10:11, right?
Yeah.
2 balls and a strike. Abad is holding left-handed hitters to a .239 average.
Well, we've got the scenario for Chris Snyder's dramatic home run on Cougar night in the bottom of the inning.
Oh, yes. He's 2 up second.
Just going to have to turn around 104-mile-an-hour fastball is all.
Whoop. Scrambles for that one. It's ball 3. Second straight night of Chapman. And I don't know about the learning curve with that guy throwing 100.
Yeah, you just hope he's not quite as fresh the second time around. Maybe he doesn't have his best fastball and he's only sitting around 97.
He's getting loose. Down Snyder and Gonzalez 2 up in the bottom of the 9th inning. In for a strike. 3-2 now to Bruce.
Hit to right by Bruce. Stubbs will score easily with his speed. Jay 2 for 2 tonight against left-handed relievers of the Astros. And it's now a 5-3 game thanks to a 3-run 9th inning.
Now, this is the 3rd time in this series that Brad Mills went to the bullpen specifically to get a left-handed pitcher, and a different one each time to pitch and try to get Jay Bruce out, and none of them have been able to get the job done. This one, a ringing line drive by Bruce on a pitch down. He ran the count to full. Abad makes the pitch in there, and Bruce slaps it down the line to drive another run in.
And the dominant closer in baseball right now as far as velocity and results in terms of strikeouts. Aroldis Chapman, 18 saves and 22 save opportunities, a 1.54 ERA. Opponents are hitting 119, and 30 of his last 37 outs have been strikeouts.
Yeah, struck out about half the batters he has faced this year. 89 strikeouts in 46 2/3 innings. Punched out 3 last night after an infield hit by Chris Johnson. Just missing him. Timing is pretty good here. Didn't have to be. That's unfortunate, boy. He had a good at bat and really worked hard. Ball looked like it was inside. You'll see it number 8 there on our Fox tracks. That's a good at bat by Downs and an unfortunate call.
Rolling. Frazier. Reds win. 7 in a row. 14 of 16. Longest winning streak of the year. Drew Stubbs, the hero, not once, but twice in 2 nights here in his home state of Texas. Chapman with his 19th save. First 7-game winning streak for the Reds since the NL Central Championship year of 2010. Reds hang on to their 2.5-game division lead with a crazy victory
Welcome
tonight.
to downtown Denver. The rain is cleared out. It postponed batting practice this afternoon, but it looks like a beautiful evening for baseball as the Rockies open up a 9-game homestand. They'll begin with the Cincinnati Reds of Dusty Baker leading the National League Central. They are playing great baseball. Welcome, everybody. Glad as always you're along with Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. How about those Reds? Not only have they played good baseball, they've been doing it without one Joey Votto, who may be one of the 2 or 3 best players in the game right now.
Yeah, they're 8-2 since Votto went out, and they're 18 games above 500, second best record in the National League, only trailing the Washington Nationals. So Dusty Baker has got to be pleased with where they're sitting right now. Their batting average, that's just 9th in the National League. The home runs sit at 5th, but it really comes down to their pitching staff. You see the ERA at 3.28, and that's including the starters, relievers, and if you get back to that back end of that bullpen for the Reds, it's really dangerous, because if you're thinking that you're going to come from behind on these guys with what they have, especially Chapman coming out of the end, you're really asking for trouble.
Here's the thing about their rotation. We always talk about injury being a part of sport. Well, good health is a part of sport, part of successful sport. They have not missed a start, any of their 5 in their rotation.
Yeah, 98 games now, and the last time they went this far, they done it 80 games back in 92, and they've only used 30 players throughout the whole year. So it's not only their starting staff, but it's also their bullpen in general, or their ball club in general.
Yeah, it's been a year of good health so far for Cincinnati.
On the hill tonight for the Cincinnati Reds, and he wants to wipe out memories of the last time he pitched here.
Yeah, he doesn't like it at all. His career numbers against the Rockies, over 5.6 ERA. Not an overpowering guy as Bronson Arroyo. You'll see the fastball 86, 87 miles an hour. A lot of different arm angles for his slider, curveball, high leg kicks.
He truly, as you look at his arsenal, Huey, look at his like 18 pitches.
Yeah, and
he throws anything in any count.
And that's where Ryan Hannigan's and he are going to have to be on the same page.
This is fouled off and out of play.
Otherwise, it's too long. Hannigan would have to take his glove off and throw down both sets of fingers from his hands to say, okay, I want pitch 7.
Right.
With the sinker down.
And check swing comebacker. Let's take a look at the Reds defensively. Part of the reason they find themselves at 58-40 and leading the National League Central has been their defense. Ludwig, Stubbs, and Bruce. They have the fewest errors of any team in the National League. They have the best fielding percentage. Rowland, still a very good fielder. Cozart and Phillips up the middle. Frazier at first. Hannigan behind the plate.
Rockies yesterday, like the Reds, an open date, so he in effect had 2 days off also. They'll line this ball right at Stubbs, and so like the Reds, the Rockies go in order in the first.
As you said, Jim, one of the highest prospects in their organization. You're looking to the future when you're the Brewers.
Frazier handles that foul ball off the bat of Rosario, and so another 1-2-3 frame for Arroyo. Now he's rung up. Strikeout number 1.
Here's Brandon Phillips. He grounded to short on the first pitch he saw, and now he gets a breaking ball. That was I like that decision by Willeen Rosario. We talk about the evolution of a young catcher and how he understands to call a game. Brandon Phillips will fire at that first pitch. He fed him a fastball the first time. You live dangerously if you continue the same pattern against great hitters.
Yeah, and so you go to the knuckle curve.
That ball was a fastball center cut. Phillips lined it back through the originator.
Just missed it to Drew Pomerantz. Just couldn't get the glove there fast enough. Angry with himself, but Brandon Phillips takes it right back up the middle.
It would be very hot in the second half of the season.
That's a fair ball. That'll give the Reds the lead. That ball is into the corner. Phillips will score easily. And there in the second base with a double is Ryan Ludwig. His hot ways continue. 1-0 Reds here in the fourth.
Well, you speed up a guy's bat when you throw him a breaking ball after you've thrown him a steady diet of fastballs. And Ryan Ludwig makes a nice adjustment right here. He's kind of fooled on that pitch, but the ball is down. He's able to hook it over the head of the third baseman and for extra bases.
Scott Rowland, that goes off of Pomerantz. No play for Pacheco, and now Ludwig will move to third. A base hit, third of the inning. Scott Garrett, Jim Tracy will go check on Pomerantz. First and third situation. Ryan Ludwig's at third. Scott Rowland is at first. And Todd Frazier will come up, just one out. The Reds have scored a run. Frazier punched out his first time. Frazier, another Jersey boy, making good in the big leagues like Mike Trout. Here's the 1-0 on Frazier.
I want to go back to a home run that Frazier hit earlier this year against the Rockies from the side. Watch how his hands come off this bat. He lets go of the bat as he's making contact with the ball. That ball went out at Great American Ballpark.
And I've never seen that before.
I've never seen that before. The bat ended up by the pitcher's mouth.
3-0. There's a term in hitting, they say throw your hands.
That's a drill you do when you're just messing around. You're thinking about throwing the hands and the barrel should come out.
3-0 swinging. Fowler in somewhat shallow center field. Here's the throw to the plate. It is not in time. And the second run comes home in the person of Ryan Ludwig. Sac fly for Frazier. RBI number 34 for Frazier. That wasn't Dexter's
would
best
like to
throw.
have that one back.
Yeah, that was not his best throw.
Because we've seen Dexter make throws where it's a one hop or all the way in the air. And he buried that one on the other side of the mound and then 3 or 4 skipped to home plate.
They hit the corners, they make you chase a lot of pitches. And what he's been able to do is a lot less of that.
It's the first runner to second base tonight for the Rockies.
Josh Rutledge at the plate. Well, I'll let you come back to that. But here's I don't care what you think you could do.
Right.
I'm giving you a wish granted. You could be a great swimmer if you want.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not what athletic ability you possess right now. Swung on and missed. 2-strike count now on Rutledge. 1 out and 2 in scoring position. And Andrew Brown has already come out on deck for Pomerantz.
Rutledge 3 for 7 this year with runners in scoring position.
Johnson has him set up at 0-2 and gets him on a breaking ball out of the zone.
Pomerantz can cheat up on the plate a little bit because Arroyo keeps working him away with Pomerantz's first move toward third base. And this ball is bounced toward the hole, but it's cut off by Frazier and a good feed for Bronson Arroyo. So the Rockies get a couple hits, leave 2 in scoring position. We'll go to the 6th, 2-0. This is a broken bat flare that's going to drop. Ryan Ludwig 2 for 2 and a walk. How many broken bats we have?
That's
to now?
6.
Lane Frost. There's a 3-1, and that's a base hit to left for Scott Rowland. So 2 are on, and that'll bring up Todd Frazier.
Alfredo Simon. The Rockies picked up Ottavino. That ball is going to the wall.
Ludwig will score to make it 3-0. That first one was a wild pitch. This one may be, we'll take another look at it hopefully, but that one may be a pass ball on Rosario.
Well, certainly if it's not a pass ball, it should have been blocked. It looked like it went right through the wickets. Just did not get his glove down low enough. Ball's in the dirt, so he's probably going to get a wild pitch on that, but that's not very good form.
Gonzalez as to who is going to be the guy. It ended up being, of course, Joey. Out at first on that ground ball to third, and so Arroyo works around the double by Gonzalez to retire Kadire and the Rockies.
The Bronson Arroyo is gone. He went 6 2/3.
The Rockies have a couple of hits in the inning. Willeen Rosario's now at second. Josh Rutledge, a 2-strike hit, is at first base. And Alfredo Simon on for the 23rd time, a member of what has been one of the top bullpens in baseball this year. They had the lowest ERA in the National League at 2.53. And you see the Pirates are right there. Those are the two teams battling atop the National League Central.
Yeah, and then the LA, San Francisco, Arizona are battling in the National League West. So the bullpen's important. Dusty Baker has the luxury to be able to go to a guy like Simon, has a 1.64 ERA. Hard thrower. Anywhere from 94 to 97, 98 miles an hour.
And Eli fouls off the first pitch. It was a slider at 90.
That just tells you how hard he throws.
It is sprinkling here at Coors Field. We haven't mentioned this, but you know, it's the 7th inning. They're 2 outs. A lot of pressure on the Rockies. You think back to the days when LA had Eric Gagne and it was an 8-inning game, because the Reds have Aroldis Chapman down there. He is striking out basically 2 hitters per every inning. He almost doesn't have an ERA. So if you're thinking about rallying in the 9th inning against Chapman, you may have to think again.
Well, and, I mean, you could go back as far as San Diego with their bullpens, and you look at what happened there. And if you didn't have the lead in the 6th inning, after the 6th inning, you were in trouble with Chapman striking out 43 guys in those last 44 appearances. I mean, just striking numbers when a guy throws 100 miles an hour, 102 miles an hour. All-star this year in Chapman.
1-2 on Junior. He got a curveball his last pitch. And this is topped to second, and Phillips makes the tag on Rutledge. So the threat is put down by Alfredo Simon. 7 innings complete. The Reds have all the runs. And this is on the ground to short. Scudero left at third. 8 innings complete at Coors Field. The Rockies trailing 3-0 to Cincinnati. The Rockies trying to rally against a guy that has become absolutely dominant. He has put up ridiculous numbers this year. Aroldis Chapman, it'll be his 45th appearance. He has recorded 11 straight saves. Listen to this. This is all you need to know. This is the big leagues. The last 40 hitters he's faced, he has struck out 31 of them.
That's why he has 90 on the season in just 47 innings. 90 strikeouts in 47 2/3 innings. You want to take a look at his arsenal for Aroldis Chapman. You don't need much when your 4-seam fastball is anywhere from 97 to 102, 103 miles an hour. You mix in the other ones just to keep the hitter honest.
And he slings it a little bit. It's not easy to pick up.
It's hard to pick up because he doesn't have the high leg kick that Bronson Arroyo does, but he hides the baseball, drops it behind that left leg, and then slings it, as you mentioned, and all of a sudden, here's the ball. Try to pick it up if you can.
And the fastball on the inside corner at 97. You're talking about, there seems to be a healthy debate within the Reds organization about how to use Chapman. There's a slider for a strike. Chapman was competing for a spot in the rotation at the start of the year. You may recall Ryan Madsen, who they signed to be their closer, as a free agent away from Philadelphia, went down with a season-ending injury. He has Tommy John. There's the strikeout of help on 3 pitches. And so they moved Chapman ultimately to that closer's role. To say he's excelled would be an understatement, especially once he got his feet settled there. But going forward, do you use this great arm as a starter, or do you keep him where he is and make it an 8-inning game?
I'd keep him where he is, make it an 8-inning game, and then you put also Sean Marshall and some of the other guys they have You make it a 6-inning ball game and come in with Chapman to close the ball game out. 99 miles an hour. Do you want him out there 60 times, 65 times, or 30 times? I think that's the question. And if it is 30 times as a starter, he's going to have to come up with more pitches.
Fouled off, 2-strike count.
It was 100.
Triple digits for the first time. Well, I know Dusty Baker is a big fan of what he's done in the 9th inning. And in Dusty's mind, we know he's good here.
Right, and if you have the starting pitchers to fill the other spots, leave them there.
And at 101, he strikes out Rosario. It's another amazing thing. In 33 now of his 45 appearances, he has struck out at least 2. 33 out of 45 appearances, Aroldis Chapman has fanned at least 2.
And he only has 14 walks. So it's not like he's out there throwing the ball all over the place and then getting the strikeout. 6 pitches, 6 strikes for Chapman.
That's a rocket back up the middle by Jordan Pacheco on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Well, if there was any question about how quick Jordan Pacheco's hands are, they were answered on this pitch. I mean, he turns that 100 miles an hour, and Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo even gets the barrel there. I mean, that was off the sweet spot of the bat.
You mentioned the low walk total as Rutledge will step up with 2 outs. Last year in 50 innings, he walked 41, which is not very good. It's bad. Now, he did strike out 71, but he's really cleaned up the walk issue. That's a strike at 100.
Well, his mechanics and his windup are so much more in control. He's just going from the set position. That's why I say if you move into the rotation, would he go to the windup and have to use more movements?
Listen, when the Dodgers were winning a ton of games to Jim Tracy, and they had Eric Gagne down there, and he was a failed starter. It didn't work out with him starting, and he got moved to the 9th inning ultimately. It was game over.
How about the Nasty Boys for Cincinnati Reds in the early 90s? Game over when they came in.
1-2 on Rutledge. 2 outs in the 9th. The Rockies trailing 3-0.
And they got it. Out on strikes is Rutledge. Reds win the first game of this series here in Denver and mark it down as 8 consecutive Reds victories. 15 of their last 17, 19 over, a 3-0 shutout victory.
Well, they're on a roll right now. They're doing it with pitching, good defense, an occasional big hit to drive a run or 2 in, and this ball club feeling very good about itself right now.
Well, you don't see a shutout at this ballpark very often.
No,
do you?
you don't. And in fact, if you ever did see a shutout in the early years at Coors Field, it would make headline news next day in the Denver Post. And they may be making headlines all over the place because Dusty Baker has his ball club to an 8-game winning streak, beating the Rockies here 3-0 in the first of 3 at Coors Field. Hey, maybe Dusty Baker is on to that perfect road trip that he's been looking for all year long.
Wouldn't that be something? Arroyo wins his 2nd straight. He's even at 6-6. Chapman with his 20th save. Reds win 3-0. Ripped to left field by Ludwig. Reds are on the board. 3-1. Well, we talked about last night. This is Ludwig's best ballpark to hit in numbers-wise throughout his career. That's his 7th career Coors Field home run. His 16th of the year. He continues to smoke it.
Well, he seems like he sees the ball very big right now, and hitters get in and out of times in which they see the ball better than others, and he just locked in. I mean, that ball was a mistake pitch certainly by Christian Friedrich from that shoulder surgery of last year.
Frazier high and deep and gone. A home run for Frazier. number 11. They went the entire night last night without a home run ball. The Reds tonight get 2 of them here in the top of the second. That 3-run deficit now just 1. 3-2.
Well, that's the way you answer a 3-spot in the first inning. You're running your ace out there, Johnny Cueto. The Rockies get 3. And these Reds have seen Johnny Cueto carry this ball club many, many times. And the hitters are telling them right now, hey, Johnny, we got your back. Don't worry about it. We'll get him back. We'll get a couple this inning, maybe more.
Houston, his home state of Texas, particularly those last 2. Hitless yesterday, but he's going to tie this game here. A high rainbow shot out into the seats in left field. Drew Stubbs, number 11, and the Reds spotting the Rockies 3. Have gotten them all back here. We're only in the top of the 3rd.
Well, we mentioned it last night, and we'll probably talk about it again tomorrow, because when you have a right-handed laden lineup like Dusty Baker runs out there this year, no Joey Votto, only Jay Bruce, the left-hander, and then you see 3 left-handers in a row in this series. You're just feeding right into the strength of the Cincinnati Reds offense.
Well, the home runs all coming from righties.
Flat River in lower downtown Denver. The Rockies holding a 4-3 lead on the Reds. As we go to the 5th inning, it'll be Todd Frazier, Ryan Hanigan, and Johnny Cueto. 1, 2, 3, 4th inning for Christian Friedrich. See if he can repeat that here. He's allowed only 3 hits. The problem is all 3 hits went really far. Solo home run Ryan Ludwig, solo home run Todd Frazier, solo home run Drew Stubbs. The Ludwig and Frazier home runs came in the 2nd, and that'll be a base hit for Frazier.
Somewhat reminiscent of the game the Rockies had in Cincinnati when they had 5 solo home runs. That's the only 5 hits they got, 5 runs.
Now
Frazier decided, yeah, I'm gonna throw out a regular single.
Yeah, exactly. Rookie home runs, Frazier 2nd with 11 to Willeen Rosario, who has 16. His teammate Zach Cozart has 10. Bryce Harper, who's got a flu bug out of the lineup tonight with Washington, has 9. Anibal Sanchez's first start in a Detroit uniform did not go well. The Jays got after him. This is a very interesting few days leading up to the July 31st non-waiver trade deadline. Saw some been a lot of scouts around and a lot of special advisor scouts. Charlie Kerfeld's in town from Philadelphia. And we point that out because they're professional scouts that are always doing just regular team coverage, writing updates on reports on every player that they're assigned to, of teams they're assigned to. And then when you see special advisors, they're focused on 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking at. And so it leads me to believe that the Reds might be looking. See, this is Charlie right there. Special assistant for the Phillies. But you're thinking maybe a guy like a Hunter Pence or a pin guy. Always looking to upgrade when you're sitting in first place or you're knocking on the doorstep.
Of course, the Phillies are having their first disappointing year in a long time. They just spent a lot of money in retaining Cole Hamels. Charlie was quite a pitcher in his own right with the Houston Astros.
I faced Charlie in junior college. He pitched for Yavapai Community College in Prescott, Arizona when I was playing at Glendale.
And you went out there and you said, holy cow,
boy,
who put the monster on the mound?
Yeah,
huh?
Charlie was throwing hard. I'm a kid just out of high school. I said, oh boy, I'm overmatched.
Charlie was huge.
He was. And the first 15,000 fans on August 5th will receive a Colorado Rockies lunch bag courtesy of King Soopers. Get your tickets today. San Francisco Giants will be in town.
Charlie's a good baseball man. Right now, it's 3-0 on Ryan Hanigan. And on 4 pitches, Friedrich has created a problem. He had the luxury of the bottom of the order. He gives up the knock to Frazier. Now Hanigan walks, and Johnny Cueto will be asked to bunt. Yeah, pitch count's great.
Yeah, that's not been the problem.
That's as low a pitch count as we've seen in
yeah.
the 5th inning, maybe this year. He had that 8-pitch first inning. Last inning was a low pitch inning, and the runs have come on solo home runs. So it's not like
right.
He's had deep pitch
a lot of
counts
traffic out there and high pitch counts, 3-2s.
I mean, it's 8 in the first, 14 in the second, 9 in the third, 11 in the fourth. That's why the pitch count's so low. But right now he's got to work out of this mess. And quite honestly, and you and I have discussed this a little bit. That's not close. Not that you want to see a pitcher in trouble, but for these young starters to grow, they need experience in a tight ball game, in the middle of the ball game, and they need to get through it.
That's how you learn. How did I? That's when you go back to the memory bank. How did I get out of this situation?
Good pitch, good bunt, and Friedrich throws out Cueto at first. So Johnny Cueto does his job.
Because they've been put in these situations. Catcher's interference or foul ball, one of the two.
Foul ball.
Mike Shaw's Subaru Supermo. It's tough to tell. It just barely nicked it.
Josh Renicky.
Up the middle, that'll tie the game. Hannigan had to move out of the way. First, so he wouldn't get hit. Second, he thought the ball may be fielded. He was actually going back to second base, avoids the ball. It's in the center by Cozart. Game is tied at 4, and now the go-ahead run at third.
Well, after getting their first three runs with home runs, the Reds play a little small ball right here. Single, walk, sacrifice bunt, ground ball through the infield for a base hit by Zach Cozart. And the Reds are seeing the ball against Friedrich tonight. He's only got 1 strikeout.
Drew Stubbs at the plate. We talked about his tremendous speed, so very difficult guy to double up. 1 out. 4-4, runners at first and third. Seems like a lot of young pitchers, when they get traffic, tend to nibble more.
Well, they don't trust their stuff. So they say, I want to hit this corner on this spot. And if you miss, you're missing by 6 or 7 inches.
Now the Reds take their first lead. Stubbs comes through, his second hit of the night. And the Reds take a 5-4 lead as first Cozart and now Stubbs comes up with hits with runners in scoring position. 5-4 Cincinnati.
Todd Frazier and Drew Stubbs wearing out that 5.5 hole right here in this inning. Right between the shortstop and the third baseman. Stubbs gets over the top of it. And when those start falling in for you right there, you'll pick up some runs, you'll pick up your points on your batting average, make you feel good.
Christian Friedrich, he threw the pitch he wanted to do to try to get the ground ball, but Stubbs just hit it in the area there was nobody there.
It'll be a short night. 55 pitches, 4 1/3 innings of work for Friedrich, and he is gone. 5-4 Cincinnati. Josh Renicky will be coming on. Breaking ball, Brandon Phillips. Ahead in the count, 1-0. Phillips a ground ball to third and a ground ball to short. Cozart and Stubbs on base. Good speed. Both of those guys with RBI singles. Phillips is at 375 in the absence of Joey Votto.
Since Votto went out with that left knee surgery, 9-2 for the Cincinnati Reds. We were talking to Dusty Baker today around the batting cage. He said it's mainly our pitching. We'll get the timely hits, but our pitching's kept us at that mark.
And he mentioned what we were speaking about last night, the defense.
Yes. But tonight, that's hurt him. The 2 errors by Cueto.
Fowler chasing. Fowler's not going to get it. That ball will one-hop the wall. 1 run will score. Another runner racing around. He will score. Cozart and Stubbs both touch the plate. And the Reds, who once trailed in this game 3-0, now have taken a 3-run lead at 7-4.
I'll tell you what, Brandon Phillips just really leveled on that ball. I mean, he went out and got that pitch, drove it over the center fielder's head like a rocket shot. He went down to get it after a couple of ground balls to the left side of the infield. Brandon got some elevation on that one.
Carrying toward left field. Gonzalez going back. It's going to carry out of here. Home run for Scott Rowland. His 5th of the year. Keeps that hitting streak alive at 7 games. And Scott Rowland gets that run back the Reds gave up in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, Scotty has hit the ball hard tonight. Hit a hard line drive right at the center fielder Dexter Fowler in the 2nd inning. But nobody's going to get that one. He went right out ahead and got that little breaking ball by Renicky and parked it out of there in left center field.
The 8th inning, and the Rockies are on to their 4th pitcher of the night. Matt Belisle will handle inning number 8. As steady as they come. Matt making his 49th appearance. Terrific ERA. 45 strikeouts, just 8 walks.
And that 48 appearances, that leads the Rockies out of the bullpen. We mentioned earlier Josh Renicky has the most innings in all of baseball, but Matt Belisle, he's a give me a ball every day type of guy. Talk about the trade deadline a few innings ago, Drew, that Ryan Ludwig was traded 2 years ago. He found out by a reporter who called him.
Really?
Yeah. Said, how do you feel about the trade? He said, what trade?
Not supposed to be done that way. Just was looking back. Over the last 28 games, only 1 time have the Rockies used less than at least 4 pitchers in a ball game.
That was the other day in Arizona.
Yeah, they used 3 the other day in a loss. I believe that was, I'll say exactly when that was. You have it too, Jeff. He was on the 23rd. The Rockies lost 6-3. Sanchez went 4 innings. Torres went 3. Ekstrom went 1. That was the day Ian Kennedy threw 8 innings of 2-run baseball.
Down the left field line off the bat of Ludwig, carrying toward the corner. That ball is fair, and that's another home run for Ludwig.
How about Ryan Ludwig? Well, no sooner did we tell you about that stat about Matt Belisle keeping the ball down and in this ballpark than Ryan Ludwig ruins that one for him and gives the Reds a 2-run lead.
A multiple home run game for Ryan Ludwig, marking the 3rd time that he has done that this year.
Boy, does he love hitting here or what?
2 outs in the 8th. LeMahieu's at 3rd. He doubled. Dexter Fowler walked. He's at 1st. And Carlos Gonzalez, who, as Huey mentioned before the commercial break, 4 for 5 with a bomb against Sean Marshall. And they'll get reacquainted here.
And that bomb was into the upper deck here at Coors Field, the third deck. Lefty's hitting 264 off of Sean Marshall. Cargo hitting 304 now off of left-handed pitching.
That was a home run against Marshall when Marshall was employed by the Cubs. And that completed the cycle. I mean, if you're going to do it emphatically.
In grand style.
Yeah. It's the first pitch Marshall threw him in the 9th inning. That'd be a nice picture right here. Give the Rockies a 10-9 lead. Cargo's 2 for 3 and a walk tonight. He has 3 RBIs, 70 on the season. Looking for more.
That was just a courtesy throw over from Sean Marshall.
But I think a smart play, because just to let Dexter Fowler know, I haven't forgotten about you. Dexter, of course, is the tying run. But with Cargo up, he's in scoring position right here.
And don't take the bat out of his hand.
No, you got to let him swing. Outside, ball 1. Cargo's exhibited great patience the last 2 days, as we've discussed, seeing the ball much better. When he was showing a little fatigue in that Arizona series.
What's happened? He's got himself into better hitters counts.
Here's the 1-0. He got a pitch to hit there. He was on it. I don't know if he was sitting on the slider, but he was on it, and it was center cut.
Yeah, and he knows that's what he's going to get from Sean Marshall, is just a steady diet of them.
Marshall's lucky.
Yeah.
Where that pitch was located, he is lucky. Because that
they
could have been
back.
Yeah,
it could have been on the upper deck.
That could have been sent to the 3rd tier. Marshall took a little more off that breaking ball. More of a curveball. 1 and 2.
And a curveball that he started at Carlos.
9 times this year, Cargo's driven in at least 3 in a game.
And the corner outfielders have backed up now. They're 2 or 3 steps deeper than where they have normally played, so there's a lot of green grass if you dump one in front of them.
Ball and 2 strikes on Cinco. Dyer hit a 2-run home run to get the Rockies within a run. Ludwig hit a solo home run to make it 9-7. We're in the 8th.
He keeps flirting with danger. One of these pitches Carlos will catch up to and square it up.
Carlos Gonzalez frustrated. Sean Marshall jogs off. The Reds still up 2. And the Rockies have the unenviable task of trying to score a couple off this fella. He's 20 of 24 in save opportunities, but the ones he booted were early in the season. We went over his ridiculous numbers last night. We'll examine them further again tonight. 93 punch outs in 48 2/3, including 93 last night.
Right there, 93. That's the big number when you're just talking about 48 2/3 innings. And last night, 11 pitches, 10 of them for strikes. And he strikes out Todd, Willeen, and Josh Rutledge to end the ball game. And it's overpowering stuff. It's 100, 101, 98. Michael Kadire 0 for 1 in his career against Chapman. He's still got to go with the rally caps.
So here we go. Kadire against Aroldis Chapman. Michael, a 2-run home run back in the 7th, his 15th of the year. Get the Rockies to 8-7 at the time. He swings at the first pitch. It's a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and fly ball to Stubbs. Makes it 1 out. Todd Helton will come up. In the past, the game plan even earlier this year against Chapman was take a strike, because oftentimes it was 2 or 3 pitches in and you got ahead in the count. But he has established that he's going to throw the first pitch more often than not in the strike zone. So now the philosophy changing a little bit.
Yeah, he had 14 walks in those 4 to 8 innings. Just 2 walks in the last 12 2/3 here in July. Heads up.
Man.
That got it. Hopefully it just got the jersey.
Rockies 7 runs, 13 hits tonight. The Reds 9 runs on 9 hits. They have 5 solo home runs. Committed a couple errors. That's Johnny Cueto. 2 throwing errors. And pickoff attempts.
Andrew Brown, 20 home runs down in AAA.
And this is looped down the line, foul, and away from Todd Frazier. Ramon Hernandez, if the inning continues. Rosario at second, Pacheco the tying run at first. As Tommy, excuse me, yeah, it's Rosario at second, Pacheco at first. The field was forced at second, running for help. 2 outs in the ninth, 9-7 Cincinnati. This gets away, and everybody will move up. And now a single ties up the baseball game.
A heads up base running from Rosario and also George Pacheco. The slider, Hannigan drops down the heel of the catcher's glove, right shoulder. And Pacheco has to wait to make sure that Rosario is going to go. He took off, he went. You don't want to run your guy off if he stops halfway.
He went.
Earlier, he wasn't called on a swing that went further than that one.
1-2 on Andrew Brown.
The outfielders for Cincinnati, I mean, they're playing almost like a pitcher is up, but it's because of the speed of Chapman. I mean, this is the left fielder right over there.
Yeah, this is an interesting alignment for a guy who's got a lot of pop. 1-2 on Brown. 2 in scoring position. That was 102. Swallowed the toothpick, Dusty. Two. And Chapman strikes out Brown, and the Reds win it 9-7. The Rockies threaten against Chapman, cannot get it done, and they blow an early 3-0 lead. It's the 10th time this year the Rockies have had a 3-run or more lead and lost the baseball game. The winning pitcher is Johnny Cueto. He's 13-5. He's tied for the league lead in victories. Christian Friedrich takes the loss. He's now 5-8. And Chapman picks up his 21st save of the year. Tonight's delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. Ryan Ludwig, a couple of solo home runs tonight. Third time this year he's trotted around the bases twice in the same game. 15 times in his career. Visit JimmyJohns.com to find a location near you. The Reds have now won 9 consecutive ball games, their longest winning streak since winning 10 straight back in 1999. They're 10-2 without Joey Votto. 9-7 the final. The Toyota Post. The Rockies and the Cincinnati Reds Game 3 final meeting of 2012. The Rockies trying to cool off the Reds, who have won 9 consecutive ball games. And the first offering misses to Drew Stubbs. Ball 1. Stubbs hit a home run yesterday. 4 for 7 lifetime against Jonathan Sanchez. That's inside.
Sanchez's numbers at Coors Field tells me he's not intimidated by the ballpark. And I know the start at Kansas City this year in 6 starts, 0-2, 1072 earned run average. That strikes have been the problem, and it's becoming one here now. But it's a matter of just throwing the ball over the plate. The stuff is there.
Here's the 3-0, and that's in there. Sanchez in his start in Arizona was 89-91. A lot of 89s. Not throwing as hard, George, as we recall when he was with San Francisco, and a 5-pitch walk to Drew Stubbs.
And I think part of that is the fact that you're kind of timid to let it fly and let it go because of your inability. 44 walks in 51 innings with Kansas City, and then he started over there 1 walk. But I mean, it's a matter of being able to have command of everything and trust your stuff. This is not the guy you want to see with men on base. This year, the opposition's hit 348 against Sanchez with runners on base. Base is empty, 269. You'd like to see that flip-flop.
Phillips 3 for 11 and the 3 home runs, as you mentioned. Phillips has been a fixture in that 3 spot in the lineup, while Joey Votto is on the mend with the knee surgery. Good pitch at 91. It's the hardest ball he's thrown yet.
Some bright Under Armour gloves for Brandon Phillips. It almost appeared as if there was pads on the back side of that lead hand, the left hand, but there's not. That's just really bright red.
Big league players go through batting gloves like they're chewing gum. Boy, Hernandez just did come up with that. This is the 131st start in the career of Jonathan Sanchez, a career mark of 39-52. With a 4.5 ERA. 1 out, 1 on. Rockies and Reds. Sanchez will check out Drew Stubbs, who leads the ball club with 20 stolen bases. He takes off, and Hernandez's throw is not going to get him. He just, George, there's some guys that, you know, everybody's got to do it with timing and good jumps. And then there's some guys that can outrun.
Well, he's
a
one of
bad
those.
Jump.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that if you watch, he's at full acceleration, second step out of it. There's not any little bit of a slow get-go. That's what really helps him, and well ahead of the throw with a left-hander on the mound.
21 bags for Stubbs. 2-1 count on Phillips. Waving that bat. Now he'll step out.
Well, it's 1 out, 2, and a right-handed bat up. You've got to be careful and make sure you pay attention to Stubbs because he will take off to get third.
As we point out, fairly frequently, it's much easier to steal third, particularly against a left-hander, because you get in that blind spot. Phillips fouls it off.
That's towards us.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you see the catch that guy made?
That's
see, we don't get to see
grab.
that. He stood up straight in the air with the glove and snagged it while his buddy ate pizza. I told you when I brought you to the game, I'd get you a souvenir, honey. Here's your souvenir. Look at her. She's ducking. She didn't see him catch it. She's acting like me, ducking under the counter.
2-2 on Phillips.
And what Stubbs is doing right now to Sanchez is taking his concentration off of home plate and to second base.
The guy at the plate has gotten better and better each month this year. His average has gone up. 254 in April, 283 in May. He had 311 in June. And Brandon's hitting 326 in the month of July. Breaking ball, and it's hit in the air to deep left field. Twisting foul.
You didn't see it either, did you? I didn't see it. It's tough to see because of the white shirts and the fly to the ball and the gray sky. It's difficult to see the ball.
No, I could see it. It's the angle. We have to look on the monitor because
where we are,
we're not right behind home plate, so it's hard to tell if it's going to be fair or foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Phillips.
Yeah, really busy bat on Phillips as he stands at home plate, but as the pitch comes, everything gets quiet.
Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more, as they did last night, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies Taco special.
Hit for Phillips to right. Stubbs will round and being waved home by Mark Berry. Tyler Colvin doesn't make a throw. Reds jump in front here in the first inning, 1-0. Brandon Phillips gets RBI number 61.
What a great at bat by Brandon Phillips right there. Had a pitch up early in the at bat, got out ahead of it a little bit, hit a foul home run. Here he stays inside the baseball, just trying to use that right side. He loops it into shallow right.
He will throw the high heat. He's got a great arm, 94 miles an hour. Struggled in the month of April when he came over, and imagine that, a little bit coming from the sunny San Diego to the cool temperatures of Cincinnati in April. He was 1-2, 597. Since that time, he has turned the button up pretty good. 7-1, 377 earned run average.
And he comes after him with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. And the strikeout of Colvin is out number 2 in the bottom of the first. 0-2 the count on Hernandez. Latos ready. And he got him a chase. The tag makes it official. In the inning, a walk to Dexter Fowler, and then Josh Rutledge on the first pitch he sees from Matt Latos goes yard to right center. And the Rockies have a 2-1 lead as we go to the second. This ball's well hit left center field by Chris Heisey. And Heisey around second looking for a triple, and he's got it. A leadoff triple by Heisey, getting his first start in the series.
Well, this is another kid with a lot of speed, too. You've seen Stubbs. He's about 4 clicks behind him. He hits a ball out into left center, pitch 25 from Sanchez, and it ends up into the gap in the left center field, and it's off to the races. Got there just ahead of the throw from Josh Rutledge. Right there is where he realized, I better get it up to that next level. The throw offline a little bit allowed him to get there. Here's a deep fly to Dexter. That's going to score the tying run for the Cincinnati Reds.
So Miguel Cairo, just like that, has knotted things up at 2.
Okay, Drew, question.
Yes.
Leadoff triples. What percentage of time do you think they score on a leadoff triple?
And that's a nasty slider. 89 miles an hour. 3 strikeouts for Matt Latos. Just 24 years of age. In fact, 4 of the 5 starters for Cincinnati are under 26. Cueto's 26. There's strike 1. The only guy older is Bronson Arroyo, who's 35. You know, it's nice to have, it's really nice to have 4 guys that are entering their primes. You love that. But I'm big on, you know what? Good is good. And I don't care how old you are.
Exactly.
You're going to turn away Roy Halladay because he's in his mid-30s?
Well, you know what? And I'm going to say this, too. I mean, I thought Dan O'Dowd took a little bit of an active approach when he was able to send Chatwood and Outman both back to Double-A. That's what Roy Halladay had to go all the way back to rookie ball, and it turned out okay for him, didn't it?
It did for Roy Halladay, no question about that. Good inning for Latos. We'll go to the 3rd time. Top of the Reds order, Zach Cozart, who popped a second his first time. And Sanchez misses with his first fastball. It's 1-0 on Cozart. (2-0). He has spent a fair amount of time in the manager's office, not as in going to the principal's office. It's a positive. You know, Dusty was a terrific player in his own right, and he's really, according to Zach, helped counsel him through the roller coaster ride of playing this many games every day at shortstop for the first time as a young player.
The key is what you said, shortstop. It's such a huge position on a ball club. And you're involved in almost every single play. But one thing he's done is he's swung the bat, and he's going to be off to the races here. This is going to get to the wall.
This may be triple territory also. He's headed in that direction. It's going to be back-to-back leadoff triples in the 2nd and 3rd inning. Last inning was Heisey, and this inning it's Cozart.
Turning him loose with the count, sitting at 3-0. Excuse me, 3-1 count, but a fastball count. Leadoff hitter may a lot of times work to try to get on base through a walk or get a pitch he can drive. Well, he got a pitch he can drive. Stumbled coming around the first base bag, and it's kind of a steady pace. Looked like he was running into the outfield. He made that easy.
Drew Stubbs takes a fastball for a strike. Stubbs walked, stole second, scored on a base hit by Brandon Phillips in the 1st inning.
Now, Dougie told us just a minute ago, 87.5% of the time they score on a triple, on a leadoff triple. So it's going to be difficult now not to give that run up. Jim Tracy feels his club can score a few runs, so the infield back early in the game, as it should be.
Well, the only way to avoid a run scoring here is punch outs, comebackers, or pop ups. Everything else is going to bring that run home like that. Well, same as last inning. You get a sac fly behind the triple. This time it's Drew Stubbs. And Stubbs has his 32nd RBI, and now the Reds have a 3-2 lead.
They mirror an awful lot of their manager, a guy that played the game the right way fundamentally. His bench coach, Chris Spire, much like that. Billy Hatcher. All guys that played the game fundamentally sound when the opportunity presented itself. Twice in a row now, their club has done just that.
0-1's the count on Zach Cozart here in the 5th inning. 3-2 Cincinnati. You know, we haven't seen one of those 70-game win streaks in a while, George, that the Reds put together in 1869. Though the Reds may be on their way. They've won 9 straight.
Well, I'm going to tell you a funny story. The other day, Marty Brenneman, going to be a base hit up the middle. Marty Brenneman gets on, and you may have already told us in the last couple of days with his bet.
No, but I know what story you're going to tell.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great
told
story.
Marty that you know, you're making a lot of people. I'll let you finish the story, but when you finish it, you'll understand. You're making a lot of people torn here in Colorado.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah. Well, Marty made a bet. He got on a plane the other day, and they're getting ready to leave, and he just made the comment. Now you got to understand, Marty's hair would not move in a hurricane. He's the guy on the left. Would not move in a hurricane. Matter of fact, we used to call him Helmet Head because his hair was really big and he had a lot of hair. So anyway, he tells Chris Spire, he said, you guys never win 10 in a row.
They had won about 4 in a row.
Yeah, he goes, you'll never win 10 in a row. He says, why? He said, not this team. And Marty's always been a guy to speak his piece anyway, right? He's never been one to back off. So they said, well, what are you going to do if we do win 10 in a row? And he said, I'll shave my head. So Marty told me this morning he's got a TV commercial to do when he gets back in town on Monday and Tuesday. And there's a pretty good chance Wednesday Marty's going to be bald-headed. And the first one in line, he said, was the one I ripped the most early on.
Left field and deep. And that's gone. 2-run home run, Drew Stubbs. Second straight ball game, Stubbs has gone deep. And Marty maybe kissing his hair goodbye if this continues. It's now 5-2 Cincinnati. Third RBI, second and third RBI on the afternoon for Drew Stubbs.
Fastball elevated. It's just up out over the plate. 78th pitch thrown by Jonathan Sanchez. And it gets out of the yard down that left field line. All Cargo could do was jog and watch.
So who's lined up first as Brandon Phillips takes ball 1?
Homer Bailey's, you know, he said, for all the years you ripped me when I didn't live up to being the #1 pick and winning all these games. And by the way, Homer Bailey has found his stride. He's very good right now. Marty even told him, man, you're throwing the ball good. He goes, yeah, but I'm first in line with the Clippers. So Homer Bailey, who sits at 9-6 right now with a 3.50 ERA and second on the team in innings pitched. I said, Marty, I'm going to give you a little warning. Let him use the #1 to shave your head, but don't let him take the razors and the shaving cream. You're not going to like that when you're done with it.
Big swing and a miss, 2-1.
Carlos Torres, the right-hander, getting loose down in the bullpen. He's done a very nice job as one of the piggyback or long guys out of the bullpen for this Rockies club. And right now, with the off day tomorrow and the off day Thursday, you're basically working a 5-man rotation. So pitch count was not a factor really for Sanchez, more of a performance factor. Right now, he trails 5-2.
Phillips lifts one to center field. Fowler makes the catch, and that's the first out in the 5th inning.
Phillips looked like he got a cramp in his calf. Running up the line, he's going to jog off with it. Listen, this is not the ball he hit, but the one he missed. He kind of twisted everything around a little bit. Last night he took a swing and fell down in the box, and the Rockies were able to turn a double play.
Jay Bruce swinging, and he lifts this thing into the second deck in right center field.
Previous at bat, he flew out against the auxiliary scoreboard on a hanging breaking ball. This time Dusty Baker's up off his chair. He wanted to see the flight of that and how far it went. Well, it went into the second deck about 8 rows.
That's number 20 for Bruce, his first hit in the series. Second home run of the afternoon for the Reds. It's 6-2.
Fastball, inner half of the plate and down. He's just one of those guys that left-handers do not intimidate the fact of what kind of swing he's going to put on a baseball. A missed location. As far as Sanchez was concerned, Jim Tracy will make a double switch.
How about this for Jay Bruce as Tracy comes out? 5 straight years with at least 20 home runs. And Bruce is just 25 years of age. He has the most home runs, 120, of any player in the big leagues under 26. 2 on for Hernandez, who's 0 for 2.
Has some power in his bat. If he can get a fastball middle half in, I think personally they'll stay away from him. Try to get him to get a ball on the ground.
You watch Hannigan, George. You were talking about having him, move the umpire. Just watch his setup, man. He works. I mean, he is, and you better be as a catcher. He is into every pitch.
Well, he is. And again, this is a guy that's caught 2 nights in a row. He's sitting back there again. He's an everyday guy. Really goes over the scouting reports with Brian Price, but more importantly, he figures out what's working on that given day for his starting pitcher. He's not looking down. I mean, he's looking a little bit at his pitcher, but his pitchers trust them so much. You haven't seen them. Well, I mean, it's a hanger and it's 88, but it's nasty.
Ramon Hernandez is gone, and that's the 5th strikeout for Matt Latos.
Look how he received that baseball. So clean with what he did on the baseball.
Well, again, he missed location, Latos did, but Hannigan quiet with the hands. This is a team deal, and catchers will tell you that.
Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. See how they watch it in? He closed right. Look at it. Look at him right there looking at this pitch all the way in. His eyes are wide open. Still don't know how catchers do that, particularly blocking a ball and a guy swinging, and they're 9 out of 10 times those eyes stay open. They work on a drill doing that.
Pacheco to deep short, and a nice play by Cozart, the flip to Valdez, and that threat is put down. A double by Gonzalez, a walk to Colvin. Eating time, 6-2 Reds. Eric Young Jr. will pinch hit in the 8th spot in the lineup. This is where the pitcher was located. Latos still out there. Tommy Field, Dexter Fowler to follow. He's in the mid-90s in terms of pitchers, if you're wondering. This will be number 95, and he strikes out EY. That's his 6th strikeout. Now to bring up Tommy Field.
Latos with 8 ground ball outs, 5 flyouts, and now 6 strikeouts in the ball game. Still throwing 95 here. He's setting the bottom of the 7th.
Tommy grounded to short his first time up. Last year in 16 games hit .271 with the Rockies. Did a solid job defensively also.
This year, because of the injuries here and the movement at AAA, he has had to play second, short, and third at times. Mostly in the middle of the infield, though, and that's his specialty, the middle of the infield, second and short.
And strike 3. Back-to-back punch-outs to begin the 7th inning, and Dexter Fowler, who is 0 for 2 and a walk, will take his turn. To left, long run, and the catch made by Heisey. 1-2-3 inning again for Matt Latos. He has been very good since that first inning. 6-2.
I'll give Dougie one. I'm good at delivering the very top.
Heisey hits it down the left field line, and this will be a double for Chris Heisey. Triple earlier in the ball game. Heisey is 2 for 4.
Fastball, they wanted away. You could see the huge amount of run on the ball. It ran right back to the middle. That allowed Heisey to put the good part of the bat on there, and it just crushed him.
Houston has won it 9-5. It's going to be a base hit for Cairo and produce another Reds run. Scoring is Heisey. Nicely done there by Miguel Cairo, a second RBI of the afternoon, and it is 7-2.
Well, Miguel Cairo's driven in a couple of them with a sacrifice fly first time up. That time he just goes the other way. Reds are making it look easy.
.95 in the 8th, and that was pitch for him. I mean, this is the thing that flashes for me. At 95 on his 115th pitch, he's thrown a total of 38 balls in this ball game. Chris Byer, the bench coach, Brian Price, there he is the pitching coach.
Johnny Cueto was in that shot too, through yesterday. Sam LeCure.
A 5-run lead, go out and hold it.
That's a nasty splitter, and that is strikeout number 8 for Matt Latos, who's allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Bottom of the 9th inning at Coors Field. It's not been a good day for the Rockies. They did have a 2-1 lead after 1, but all Cincinnati since then.
Sam will get it and go to second for 1, and on to first for the double play. Well, Cozart got rid of it in a hurry. It's a 1-6-3 twin killing, first of the day.
Well, a play like this, it's all about the feed. Where's that feed coming across the bag? That shortstop's got great momentum. Sam LeCure turns, fires right there, chest high. Had a good turn by the shortstop, Zach Cozart. First twin killing of the day for the Reds.
That's 0 for 3 and a walk. Dexter has reached 59 times in his last 33 games. I mean, that's almost twice a game from a leadoff spot. That's
He's done a wonderful
tremendous.
job. You know, to turn his whole season around, and then now he's just keeping that even keel ride with it.
Off the plate, 1-1. Far more consistently good at bats.
Boy, you didn't want to do that, I can tell you that. Dusty Baker got the double side working down in their bullpen.
Reds a strike away from a win. Cairo fields. He gets it to LeCure. Out there. Reds win. 10. Count them. 10 in a row by Cincinnati. And how about Marty? Amanda, his wife in the background, says it's a new look for the Hall of Fame broadcaster.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Sometimes you make promises you may not want to keep, but he will be forced to keep that one. Matt Latos will take some extra personal pride in being the guy that gets him shorn, and nice job by Latos today of 8 innings of 2-run baseball. The Reds just completely dominant in this series. Just the way Dusty Baker drew it up. It'll be a happy plane ride back home before they take on the Padres starting tomorrow night.
And the right-hander wings it toward the plate. And he bounces to first. The pick by Cairo, give it up to the pitcher, and this one belongs to the Reds. Cincinnati has won 10 in a row, and I'm going to shave my head absolutely bald. The Reds win the final game of this series to go undefeated on the road trip.
And Marty Brenneman is going to lose the hair on that. Well, he's got a little work to do on television tomorrow, and then later on the week, you can see it on the internet. That will be shaved off, and Marty's saying, why'd I open my big mouth? Today's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's, America's favorite sandwich delivery guys. They got an outstanding start from Matt Latos. He gave up a 2-run home run in the first to Josh Rutledge, and after that, the Rockies would only get 2 runs off of him. 2 hits off of him, I should say. Latos, 8 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits. He punched out a dominant performance by the former